Chapter 78. On the surface, the sacred ground was a place where one could talk reason and follow the rules. However, all of this was based on absolute strength. Without strength and talent, who would listen to your rules? Who would reason with you? That was just a fool's dream. Therefore, in order to successfully enter the inner sect, Jun Haoyin had to create momentum for himself. Only by displaying his talent and strength would the upper echelons of the sacred ground notice him. Only then would he be qualified to talk to Long Ziyue on an equal footing. As for how to create momentum, Jun Haoyin already had an idea in mind. Previously, Jun Haoyin wanted to get Long Ziyue to say something. Since she said that someone with his strength was not worthy to be an inner sect disciple of Lengya sacred ground. In that case, those disciples who were weaker than him were even more unworthy. Therefore, Jun Haoyin decided to challenge all the inner sect disciples of Lengya sacred ground. One person to defeat all the heroes. As long as Jun Haoyin defeated all the inner sect disciples, it would cause a huge uproar in Lengya sacred ground and turn the world upside down. Jun Haoyin's lips curled into a cold smile. The entire inner sect disciples of Lengya sacred ground would be defeated by him, an outer sect disciple. That would be an interesting scene. At the thought of this, Jun Haoyin immediately took action. The momentum would start today. He was going to stir up a huge commotion among the inner disciples. Ethereal Peak, the residence of the inner sect disciples of Lengya sacred ground. Almost all the inner sect disciples were gathered in Ethereal Peak. At this moment, in front of Ethereal Peak, a figure dressed in red was heading towards Ethereal Peak. Wang Yong, an inner sect disciple of Lengya sacred ground, was at True Energy Realm level 5. At this moment, Wang Yong had just returned from training outside and was about to return to his residence to rest. "Senior brother, please hold on." At this moment, Jun Haoyin appeared at the entrance of Ethereal Peak in white. "Who are you? What's the matter?" When Wang Yong saw Jun Haoyin calling out to him, he saw that Jun Haoyin was a stranger to him and immediately asked in confusion. Outer Sanctum disciple Jun Haoyin would like to exchange a few moves with senior brother. "I hope senior brother will allow me to do so." Jun Haoyin looked at Wang Yong with a smile on his face. His aura was extraordinary. "Outer sect disciple? I'm sorry, but I just came back from my training. I don't have time." Hearing that Jun Haoyin was an outer court disciple, Wang Yong said impatiently. After that, Wang Yong turned around, not planning to stay any longer. If senior brother wins, these 3,000 primordial stones will be senior brothers. Meanwhile, Jun Haoyin withdrew a pile of spirit stones from his spatial ring and placed them before Wang Yong, and his tone was filled with temptation. "This is 3,000 primeval stones. 3,000 spirit stones, even to an inner court disciple like Wang Yong, it was still a considerable amount of wealth. Therefore, Wang Yong looked at Jun Haoyin as if he was looking at a fool. "Since you are so sincere, senior brother will fulfill your request." As he spoke, Wang Yong was about to activate his true core power. "Wait." Jun Haoyin interrupted Wang Yong's actions and continued, "Senior brother, if you are defeated by me, you have to hand over your inner court disciple token." "What? Hand over my inner court disciple token?" Hearing this, Wang Yong was shocked. The inner court disciple token represented the identity of an inner court disciple. If he handed it over, it meant that he was no longer an inner court disciple. "Senior brother, with your strength, are you afraid of a mere outer court disciple like me?" Jun Haoyin's tone was slightly provocative. "I agree." Seeing that Jun Haoyin's tone was somewhat disdainful, Wang Yong immediately made up his mind and agreed. He did not believe that he would lose to an outer court disciple. "Okay then, senior brother, take this." Just as Wang Yong finished speaking, an extremely terrifying aura suddenly exploded from Jun Haoyin's body. Boundless suppressive force immediately swept towards Wang Yong. Thud thud thud. Under this force, Wang Yong's body could not help but take a few steps back. Jun Haoyin had only revealed his aura, and Wang Yong had already been defeated. Your strength." Wang Yong looked at Jun Haoyin with a face full of shock and disbelief. "Senior brother, admit it. You have lost. Hand over your inner court disciple token." Looking at the shocked Wang Yong, the corners of Jun Haoyin's mouth curled up slightly. "Inner court disciple token." Hearing this, Wang Yong's expression became somewhat hesitant. If he handed over his inner court disciple token, he would lose his authority as an inner court disciple. In the Lengya sacred ground, many benefits could only be obtained with the identity token. Could it be that senior brother wants to go back on his word? Seeing Wang Yong's hesitation, Jun Haoyin's face suddenly became cold and his aura exploded. Okay, I'll hand it over to you. Feeling Jun Haoyin's murderous intent, Wang Yong could not help but tremble. He handed over his identity token with some trepidation. However, although he was afraid of Jun Haoyin, a chill flashed in Wang Yong's heart. He decided that when he returned, he would report this to the tribunal council. This person had used his strength to forcefully take someone else's identity token. This was an unforgivable crime. Senior brother, please don't blame me. After taking the identity token, Jun Haoyin smiled and showed his identity token. Junior brother, I am indeed an outer court disciple. Today is the day of the inner court assessment, but the core disciple Long Ziyue said that I would not pass the assessment. She said that someone with my strength is not fit to be an inner court disciple of the Langya sacred ground. I am not convinced, so I want to verify it with my senior brothers. Today I'll borrow your identity token. After this matter is over, I'll definitely return your identity token and apologize to you. I see. Hearing this, Wang Yong was a little depressed. Was he being used as a stepping stone? This guy was planning to step on the faces of all the inner court disciples. However, this guy was too arrogant. Given his strength, he was so confident that he could defeat all the inner court disciples. Just because of senior sister Long's words, he planned to challenge all the inner court disciples. He wanted to seize the inner court disciples' identity token so that no one in the entire Langya sacred ground could be an inner court disciple. After keeping Wang Yong's identity token, Jun Haoyin did not stop and went deeper into Ethereal Peak. Outer court disciple Jun Haoyin is here to challenge on the orders of senior sister Long Ziyue. Those with insufficient cultivation are not fit to be inner court disciples. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, Jun Haoyin decided to use Long Ziyue's name to challenge all the inner court disciples he saw. Inner court disciples could be seen everywhere in Ethereal Peak. Each time he encountered an inner court disciple, Jun Haoyin would challenge him and defeat him in a single move. Each time he challenged, Jun Haoyin would leave a message. Outer court disciple Jun Haoyin is here to challenge an inner court disciple on the orders of senior sister Long Ziyue. Those with insufficient cultivation are not fit to be inner court disciples. Outer court disciple Jun Haoyin is here to challenge an inner court disciple on the orders of senior sister Long Ziyue. Those with insufficient cultivation are not fit to be inner court disciples. Outer court disciple Jun Haoyin is here to challenge an inner court disciple on the orders of senior sister Long Ziyue. Those with insufficient cultivation are not fit to be inner court disciples. Given Jun Haoyin's current strength, ordinary inner court disciples would be defeated the moment he released his aura. Therefore Jun Haoyin was very fast. In less than 2 hours, Jun Haoyin had challenged hundreds of inner court disciples. His strength was too strong, and these inner sect disciples were just going through the motions in front of him. Chapter 79. Among the inner sect disciples, the strongest was only at level 5 True Element Realm. How could they be a match for Jun Haoyin? Just like that, Jun Haoyin swept his way up from Ethereal Peak. He was determined to challenge all the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak. Even though Langya's sacred ground was huge, there were many disciples as well. Before long, the news of Jun Haoyin challenging the entire inner sect spread throughout Ethereal Peak. Ever since Langya's sacred ground was established, there had never been an outer sect disciple who dared to challenge all the inner sect disciples. Jun Haoyin's actions naturally shocked all the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak. Have you heard? An outer sect disciple is going to challenge all the inner sect disciples. As long as they lose to him, their identity tokens will be taken away. Oh, who's so arrogant? I'm not sure. It seems to be an outer sect disciple who just entered the sacred ground. I know about that. It said that this lad is going to apply to become an inner sect disciple. However, he seems to have a feud with Long Ziyue and was put in a spot by Long Ziyue. She said that someone with his strength is not qualified to become an inner sect disciple. The reason why he's challenging all the inner sect disciples is to prove that he has the strength to become an inner sect disciple. There's such a thing? That lad is way too confident. However, Long Ziyue has gone overboard. Even core disciples don't have such authority. Isn't that so? If this lad really defeats all the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak, we'll be humiliated. No, if that's the case, that lad will come looking for us sooner or later. Let's go check out his strength first. Wait, I'll go too. Before long, all the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak knew that Jun Haoyin was going to challenge all the inner sect disciples. This kind of thing was simply a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. It immediately attracted everyone's attention. At the foot of Ethereal Peak. At this moment, most of the disciples of Ethereal Peak were gathered here. Some outer sect disciples even ran over to watch as though they were joining in the fun. It was a lively scene. However, even if they were to watch, they all stayed 100 meters away. This was because they had discovered the rules of Jun Haoyan's challenge. No matter who it was, Jun Haoyan would directly issue a challenge to anyone within 100 meters. By now, Jun Haoyan had already defeated more than 200 inner disciples. He didn't have the patience to exchange pleasantries with them one by one. That would be a waste of time. Although it was only a few sentences, it was enough for him to defeat a few inner sect disciples. Therefore, Jun Haoyan made a new challenge plan. As long as there were people within 100 meters, he would directly challenge them. Senior brother, you've lost. Hand over your command medallion. Jun Haoyan smiled as he looked at the inner disciple who was sent flying a few meters away by his punch. Currently, this inner disciple in front of him was the strongest one among all the inner disciples he had defeated. You are very strong. The inner sect disciple took a deep look at Jun Haoyan, then handed the identity token to Jun Haoyan, and retreated with a dejected expression. As one of the best among the inner disciples, he had always been conceited. However, today he had never expected that he would be defeated by this outer disciple in front of him in one move. This really made him feel dejected. 100 meters away, all the inner disciples who were watching were shocked when they saw that the inner disciple who was present was defeated. The inner disciple who had just been defeated was a genius who had entered the inner disciple's soaring dragon roll. Although he was only ranked 100th on the soaring dragon roll. After that, Jun Haoyan continued to look for people to challenge. However, not long after, he realized that these inner disciples would actually take the initiative to approach him, waiting for him to challenge them. As Jun Haoyan continued to challenge people, his reputation grew. Gradually, some inner disciples started to take the initiative to challenge Jun Haoyan. As long as they defeated Jun Haoyan, all of Jun Haoyan's reputation would be transferred to them. Those who were able to enter the Holy Land and successfully enter the inner disciples were all talented and proud people. They didn't want to be famous and respected by others. However, it was a pity that the reality was cruel. None of the inner disciples who took the initiative to challenge Jun Haoyan could withstand more than 2 moves from Jun Haoyan. Soon a day had passed. On this day, Jun Haoyan had been challenging people from the bottom of the peak to the peak. He didn't know how many inner disciples he had defeated. At that moment, his reputation among the inner disciples had reached a stage where everyone knew him. There are still so many? Seeing that there were dozens of inner disciples in front of him who were eager to challenge him, Jun Haoyan couldn't help but frown. After a day of fighting, he was a little tired and wanted to quickly finish the fight and take a rest. He glanced at the dozens of inner disciples in front of him and immediately realized that their cultivation levels were quite high. He reckoned that they were all geniuses on the inner disciples' soaring dragon roll and were the ones who were ranked at the top. It's too slow to take them one by one. Jun Haoyan thought to himself. There were at least 10,000 inner disciples in the Langya sacred ground. If he were to fight them one by one, how long would it take? After thinking for a while, Jun Haoyan had an idea. He said to the dozens of inner disciples, "All of you come at me together." Silence. The moment Jun Haoyan said that, the entire place fell into silence. Then, when everyone came to their senses, there was only extreme anger in their minds. Jun Haoyan, you're indeed strong, but you're too arrogant. How dare you challenge all of us by yourself? You're courting death. Ethereal Peak is full of hidden talents. You're not a match for us alone. All the inner disciples scoffed at Jun Haoyan's arrogant words. They weren't fools and naturally had their own considerations. If they attacked together, so what if they defeated Jun Haoyan? Even if they won, they would be bullying him with numbers and it would be an unfair victory. If they lost, they would be too ashamed to show their faces. Instead of that, it was better to take them one by one. At least they could save some face. However, Jun Haoyan didn't care about their considerations. Seeing that no one made a move, he took a step forward and circulated the divine elephant overpowering force to the maximum. In an instant, an incomparably strong suppressive force enveloped everyone present. Jun Haoyan's move directly pulled everyone into the battle. Jun Haoyan, how dare you? Jun Haoyan, how dare you? Seeing this scene, the inner court disciples who were suddenly pulled into the battle were all shocked and angry. Everyone, let's begin. Jun Haoyan said slowly, ignoring the words of the inner disciples. Since he had already planned to create momentum and show his talent and strength to the upper echelons of the Langya sacred ground, why should he hide it? Chapter 80. Since he had made up his mind to show off his cultivation level and talent, there was no need to be secretive. What he wanted was to shock everyone. He wanted to shock the entire Langya sacred ground. After making up his mind, Jun Haotian smiled and took another step forward. His white robe was magnificent, and his aura was overwhelming. Everyone was stunned. In the next moment, Jun Haotian's cultivation level of LV6 True Element Realm exploded. At the same time, countless Archean mammoth shadows appeared behind him. It was as if thousands of beasts were attacking. Roar, roar, roar. Countless Archean mammoths roared, and a powerful suppressive force swept out in all directions. That was not enough. In the next moment, Jun Haotian activated the Celestial Devil technique. Above his head, the blood sea rose and 12 horrifying demonic gods appeared gradually. With the power of the demonic gods, Jun Haotian's aura became several times stronger. At that moment, Jun Haotian had only released his aura, and he had yet to make a move. But with just these, the inner sect disciples that he had dragged into the battlefield were already on the verge of defeat. Jun Haotian exuded an incomparably vast and terrifying aura that swept towards the surrounding inner court disciples. Poof, poof, poof. The dozens of inner disciples who were standing at the front were the first to bear the pressure. They immediately felt their chi and blood surging, and their breathing almost stopped. In the next moment they felt something sweet in their throats, and blood spurted out from their mouths. In the face of Jun Haotian's aura, it was as if they were facing a deity. They could not stop it, and their bodies were on the verge of collapsing. Rumble. Countless Archean mammoths roared into the sky, making Jun Haotian look like a deity who had descended to the world. All the inner disciples were shocked. Under Jun Haotian's aura, they realized that they had been defeated before they could even touch Jun Haotian's body. Jun Haotian controlled his aura, and with a confident smile on his face, he took another step forward. Boom. As his aura approached, all the inner disciples were forced to take a few steps back. Some of the inner disciples could not hold it in any longer and spat out another mouthful of blood. You have lost. Jun Haotian's majestic voice boomed in the air. At the same time, the terrifying aura that permeated the void instantly retreated into Jun Haotian's body and disappeared. Bang bang bang. Feeling the pressure on their bodies disappear, all the inner court disciples relaxed and fell to the ground paralyzed. All right, hand over your identity badges. Jun Haotian said with a smile as he looked at the group of inner disciples who had fallen to the ground. Hearing Jun Haotian's words, the inner disciples began to panic. The scene that Jun Haotian had just shown them was too horrifying. The inner disciples looked at each other and hesitated. None of them handed over their identity tokens. Looks like you're still not convinced. If that's the case. Seeing that no one was willing to hand over their identity tokens, Jun Haotian's smiling face turned cold and he said coldly. At the same time, the aura that he had just retracted into his body showed signs of surging out again. No, we're convinced. We're willing to hand over our identity tokens. Yes, we're willing to hand over our identity tokens. Seeing that Jun Haotian was about to go berserk again, the inner disciples who had just heaved a sigh of relief panicked again. They immediately handed over their identity tokens to Jun Haotian, fearing that they would have to go through the same thing again. Senior brothers, I'm sorry for offending you just now. I'm here to test the inner disciple's strength under Senior Sister Long's order. You've lost to me. According to Senior Sister Long, you don't deserve to be inner disciples at all. I'll give these identity tokens to Senior Sister Long one by one. Senior brothers, you can collect them from Senior Sister Long after this. After taking away all the identity tokens of the inner disciples who had lost, Jun Haotian put on a gentle smile on his face again. As he spoke, Jun Haotian did not forget to emphasize Long Ziyue's words. Jun Haotian had already made up his mind. This time he was going to drag Long Ziyue down with him. With that, Jun Haotian left the place slowly and walked towards the other side of Ethereal Peak. He wanted to continue the challenge. Including these people just now, how many inner disciples has he defeated? Looking at Jun Haotian's back view, many inner disciples smiled bitterly. About 600 to 700 people. 600 to 700 people. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure. I was the first to be defeated by him. Since then I've been following him. The person who spoke was Wang Yong. At this moment, there was no dejection on his face because he had lost to Jun Haotian. Instead, there was only excitement. So many experts had been defeated by Jun Haotian, so what did a nameless junior like him amount to? Moreover, he was the first to be defeated by Jun Haotian. At the thought of this, Wang Yong felt an inexplicable sense of pride. He had finally become number one for once. The ones who suffered the greatest blow were the dozens of disciples on the soaring dragon roll who had been defeated by Jun Haoyan with his aura. They had always prided themselves on being peerless geniuses. However, today they had lost all their dignity. Jun Haoyan had not even made a move. He had only used his aura to beat them until they were scared out of their wits. How can this kid be just an outer disciple when he can emit such an aura? It's all Long Ziyue's fault. If she had not interfered, this kid would not have challenged us. That's right. Long Ziyue has gone too far. Isn't he just a core disciple? Where did she get the authority to stop others from entering the inner gate? If this kid is not worthy of being an inner disciple with his strength, then we are even more unworthy. As they spoke, the inner disciples who had been defeated gradually resented Long Ziyue. It was all because of Long Ziyue that Jun Haoyan had challenged the inner disciples so crazily. It was also because of this that they had suffered such great humiliation. On the other side, Jun Haoyan's challenges were still ongoing. As long as Jun Haoyan met an inner disciple, he would issue a challenge. Get out of the way. The law enforcement team is on duty. At this moment, a few tyrannical voices rang out from afar, drawing closer and closer. The inner disciples looked over and saw several disciples of the Langya sacred ground in black robes. They looked gloomy as they walked over. When they saw the black-robed disciples, the inner disciples were shocked and involuntarily made way for them. Law enforcement disciples. These black-robed disciples were the law enforcement disciples of Kaiyang Hall. In the Langya sacred ground, Kaiyang Hall had a lot of power and controlled the rules of the sacred ground. Even if it was a pro-disciple or a core disciple, as long as they violated the rules, Kaiyang Hall could arrest them directly. In the sacred ground, Kaiyang Hall had the most power, other than the Grand Elder and the Holy Leader. Chapter 81. It's over. Seeing that the law enforcement disciple had actually appeared, everyone thought that this matter was over. The law enforcement disciples would definitely take Jun Haoyan to Kaiyang Hall for punishment. There were inner disciples and pro-disciples among the law enforcement disciples. Only the inner disciples were there this time. However, it was undeniable that those who could enter the law enforcement team were definitely the top inner disciples. They were stronger than the top few on the Soaring Dragon leaderboard. Otherwise, how could they convince the public and enforce the law? In the eyes of all the inner disciples, no matter how strong and arrogant Jun Haoyan was, he would not dare to attack the law enforcement disciples. After all, the law enforcement disciples were from Kaiyang Hall. Once they were beaten, it would be a big problem. As the place where the law was enforced, the dignity of Kaiyang Hall could not be violated. Little brother, I don't care who you are. Stop it right now. Seeing Jun Haoyan casually attacking others, the law enforcement disciples quickly walked up to Jun Haoyan and said coldly, "Law enforcement disciples." When Jun Haoyan saw that they were wearing black robes, he immediately knew their identities. He had noticed the power of the law enforcement disciples on the jade slips. You are also inner disciples, right? Looking at the law enforcement disciples, Jun Haoyan's expression did not change as he suddenly spoke. That's right. The leader of the law enforcement disciples replied. Alright then, since you're also inner disciples, then take a move from me. As soon as he finished speaking, Jun Haoyan gathered his genuine origin energy and threw a punch at the law enforcement disciples. Oh no! Feeling Jun Haoyan's aura, the group of law enforcement disciples was shocked. A bad feeling rose from the bottom of their hearts. Boom! Jun Haoyan clenched his fist, and an incomparably powerful aura suddenly gushed out from his body. In an instant, his true essence went berserk and turned into a primordial chi storm that swept towards the few law enforcement disciples. Rumble. The extremely terrifying genuine origin energy storm was like thousands of soldiers and horses galloping. It was unstoppable. Although these law enforcement disciples were powerful, they were only at the 6th level of the true energy realm. How could they be a match for Jun Haoyan, who was invincible in the true energy realm? In the blink of an eye, all the law enforcement disciples fell to the ground. Their faces were pale as they looked at Jun Haoyan in horror. As for the surrounding inner court disciples, they were already shocked to the extreme. That fellow didn't just make a move on the law enforcers. Furthermore, he had seriously injured them. This was the rhythm of piercing through the heavens. How dare you? Do you know that we are Kaiyang Hall's law enforcement disciples? After a few breaths, the leading law enforcement disciple finally reacted. He glared at Jun Haoyan and scolded loudly. Although Jun Haoyan's strength was formidable, he was aware of it and wasn't afraid. As law enforcement disciples, their status in the Holy Land was extremely special. No one was willing to offend them. No matter who it was, they would not have a good time in the hands of a law enforcement disciple. Senior brothers, please don't blame me. I'm just following the orders of senior sister Long Ziyue. Those who are not strong enough are not worthy of being an inner court disciple. Jun Haoyin restrained his aura and said with a smile. Since you have lost the qualification to be an inner court disciple of the Langya Holy Land. Senior brothers, please hand over your identity tokens. Jun Haoyin said to the law enforcement disciples. At the same time, the terrifying aura that had disappeared from his body slowly surged out again. Core disciple Long Ziyue. Long Ziyue doesn't have the right to ask us to hand over our identity tokens. Boy, I advise you to stop. You should know the consequences of offending the Kaiyang Hall. When the law enforcement disciples heard Jun Haoyin mention Long Ziyue, they were stunned. Even if Long Ziyue was a core disciple, she had no right to deprive them of their identity as inner court disciples. Who did she think she was? The hall master of Kaiyang Hall? So, you are not willing to hand over your identity tokens. Hearing that, Jun Haoyin's face turned cold. Suddenly, the deafening roar of an immemorial mammoth came out from his body. The immemorial mammoth's power that burst out from Jun Haoyin's body made him look like a ferocious beast. At this moment, the terrifying true origin in Jun Haoyin's body was rolling. It was as if he had transformed into a demon god that suppressed the heavens. Feeling Jun Haoyin's aura, all the law enforcement disciples felt their hair stand on end and their bodies turn cold. They could feel a boundless killing intent from Jun Haoyin. It seemed that if they did not hand over their identity tokens, Jun Haoyin would really kill them. Well, since you want our identity tokens so much, I'll give them to you. With a pale face, the leader of the law enforcement disciples stepped forward slowly and handed his identity token to Jun Haoyin. He knew that he was no match for this person. A wise man submits to circumstances. There was no need for him to lose his life for an identity token. I hope you won't regret it when the time comes. The leader of the law enforcement disciples stared at Jun Haoyin for a moment and said coldly. After he handed over his identity token, he signaled the others to hand over their identity tokens as well. Although they were extremely unwilling, they had no choice but to hand over their identity tokens. After Jun Haoyin took all the identity tokens, he looked at the leader of the law enforcement disciples and said word by word, "Who dares to refute Senior Long Ziyue's words? She said that those who are weaker than me are not worthy of being inner court disciples. Since you are weaker than me, you are naturally not worthy." At this moment, Jun Haoyin pushed Long Ziyue out again. Jun Haoyin's goal was simple. He wanted to drag Long Ziyue down with him. Good. Long Ziyue, how dare a mere core disciple be so arrogant? The leader of the law enforcement disciples said good 3 times in a row, then snorted coldly and left Ethereal Peak with the rest of the law enforcement disciples. He had already decided in his heart that he must report this to the elders of Kaiyang Hall and even to the hall master. Could a core disciple be so arrogant? Thinking of the humiliation they had just suffered, the law enforcement disciple could not help but feel aggrieved. As a law enforcement disciple, he had never suffered such humiliation. At this moment, the surrounding inner sect disciples were all dumbfounded by what they had just witnessed. Jun Haoyin was so bold. He was still so arrogant in the face of the arrogant law enforcement disciples and even took their identity tokens. He was really going to poke a hole in the sky. Ignoring the gazes of the surrounding people, Jun Haoyin looked at the higher part of Ethereal Peak. The challenges had to continue. After that, almost all the inner court disciples in Ethereal Peak were challenged by Jun Haoyin. After the challenge, Jun Haoyin would drag Long Ziyue down with him without exception. As an inner court disciple, how could these inner court disciples be willing to let Jun Haoyin forcefully take away their identity token like this? Under Jun Haoyin's vigorous promotion, Long Ziyue's fame reached a peak among the inner court disciples. Chapter 82. Kaiyang Hall. Elder, you have to uphold justice for us. At that moment, the several law enforcement disciples that were defeated by Jun Haoyin were kneeling on the ground and crying out loud. Their appearances were as miserable as it could be. What's going on? In the main hall, an elder in a luxurious robe was sitting on top with a dignified face. He was Elder Tseng Shishing of Kaiyang Hall. His cultivation was amazing and he had great power. He was highly respected in Kaiyang Hall. Ordinary inner disciples and elders could not be compared to him. Elder Tseng, it's like this? Hearing Tseng Shishing's words, the leader of the enforcement disciples recounted everything that happened in Ethereal Peak with great exaggeration. Now, that person has defeated about 70% of the inner disciples and snatched their identity badges forcefully. He even claimed that he was following orders. How dare you? Acting under orders? Whose orders? Hearing this, Zheng Shixing couldn't help but fly into a rage and berate loudly. In the next moment, his aura exploded like a river bursting its banks. Could shake a mountain. A mere core disciple dared to snatch the identity badges of inner disciples. It was outrageous. No matter who it was, he would not tolerate it. It's the core disciple Long Ziyue. Seeing the elder angry, the leader of the enforcement disciples was overjoyed. Long Ziyue, it's her. Hearing Long Ziyue's name, Zheng Shixing was stunned. He naturally knew Long Ziyue, the core disciple, because he had a close relationship with the pro-disciple Tsing Shan. He had received secret news that Tsing Shan seemed to be pursuing Long Ziyue. Could it be that Tsing Shan was behind this? This thought flashed through Zheng Shixing's mind. But then he shook his head. Tsing Shan should not be so stupid. Although the pro-disciples were the strongest in the sacred ground. But without the outer and inner disciples as the foundation, how could there be any pro-disciples in the future? Which pro-disciple did not rise from the inner disciples step by step? No matter how stupid Tsing Shan was, he would not dare to offend the public like this. No matter what, we must get to the bottom of this matter. First, send someone to arrest the troublemakers at Ethereal Peak. After saying that, Zheng Shixing directly left Mizar Hall. After all, Tsing Shan was a true disciple. It was not appropriate for him to ask someone to arrest his woman directly. It was better for him to go to the Purple Moon Palace and interrogate him face to face. At the same time, Jun Haoyan was like an invincible god of war as he challenged the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak in a frenzy. This incident finally spread from the inner sanctum to the entire Langya sacred land. In the Langya holy ground, the 7 main halls were Dubhe Hall, Merak Hall, Fekta Hall, Migres Hall, Aliath Hall, Kayang Hall, and Alcade Hall. There were inner sect disciples in charge of these 7 palaces. Since Jun Haoyan had challenged the entire Ethereal Peak, he naturally challenged them as well. Therefore, Jun Haoyan had offended almost all 7 highnesses of the Langya Holy Land. Everyone was infuriated. None of those who were defeated by Jun Haoyan would take it lying down. It did not matter if they were defeated. It was not as if they had not been defeated before. However, what right did he have to take away their identity badges? Losing their identity badges was equivalent to losing their identity as an inner sect disciple. Are you trying to expel me from the Langya Holy Land and humiliate me? All the inner sect disciples could not take this lying down. So what if you have the backing of core disciple Long Ziyue? Now you have offended the entire Ethereal Peak and all the inner sect disciples of the Langya Holy Land. After this incident spread, the 7 main halls of the Langya Holy Land were in an uproar. Dubhe Hall. Elder, you have to uphold justice for us. That core disciple Long Ziyue sent someone to test our cultivation and took away our identity badges after we were defeated. Is there any justice in this world? Can core disciples do whatever they want? We are not convinced. Merak Hall. Master, do you know how ruthless that guy was? I was almost killed by him. We almost didn't get to see you again. We can't just let this go, especially the mastermind Long Ziyue. That guy is too arrogant. He even beat up the law enforcement disciples. He hasn't even stopped yet. Tianji Hall. What a bully, what a bully. Who does he think the disciples of Tianji Hall are? Cats and dogs that he can bully as he pleases? Long Ziyue, right? Core disciple, right? I'll settle the score with her personally. The elder of Migres Hall was known for his bad temper in the Langya Holy Land. After hearing the complaints of his disciples, he left the hall decisively and went straight to the core disciples' residence. Alcade Hall. What? Test cultivation? Those with insufficient cultivation are not fit to be inner sect disciples. He even took away your identity badges? Since when did a core disciple become so arrogant? An elder heard the complaints of the inner sect disciples and immediately scolded. Seeing that the elder was angry, the disciples below were all excited. With the elder taking action, there would be a good show to watch. When the elder took action, not to mention a core disciple, even a legacy disciple would have to retreat. Yuheng Hall. An outer sect disciple fought alone and overturned the entire Ethereal Peak. There is such a person in the outer sect, such a genius. I want to see it. It would be great if he could enter Yuheng Hall. Of course, some of the elders were not angry when they heard the complaints of their disciples. Instead, they focused their attention on the monster who overturned the entire Ethereal Peak. A mere outer sect disciple had the strength to overturn the entire Ethereal Peak. Even a legacy disciple would not be able to achieve such combat strength. However, an outer sect disciple who was not even an inner sect disciple did it. This discovery immediately piqued his interest. But no matter what, he must find the mastermind behind this matter, Long Ziyue. Just like that, the 7 elders of the Langya sacred ground made a decision at the same time. They all sent a few core disciples to subdue Jun Haotian, while they all headed to the nuclear peak. They wanted to see what Long Ziyue was up to. Nuclear Peak, Purple Moon Hall. Long Ziyue sat leisurely in the hall. She picked up a teacup and took a sip, exuding an aura of nobility. She was a little disappointed and despised Jun Haotian. It had been so long and Jun Haotian still had not come to look for her. In her opinion, Jun Haotian must have backed down. She had always hated this kind of man. Big brother Ao Tian is the best. Big brother Ao Tian is always so confident. He never backs down. Only such an indomitable man was worthy of Long Ziyue. Thinking of Jun Haotian's proud figure, Long Ziyue could not help but be infatuated. Brother Haotian, I will definitely come and meet you after I settle Jun Haotian. I miss you so much. Chapter 83. Boom. Just as Long Ziyue was immersed in her beautiful memories, a thunderous roar resounded in the Heyuan Peak. Damn it. All of a sudden, the beautiful things in Long Ziyue's mind were interrupted, and her face turned ashen. Who dares to be so presumptuous in the Heyuan Hall? Long Ziyue, get out here. Who gave you the guts to send someone to check my disciples' cultivation? Get out here. If I don't see you in 10 breaths, I'll destroy your Purple Moon Hall. Just as the core disciples on the Heyuan Peak were puzzled by the sudden roar, a thunderous roar resounded in the void. In the void, the 7 hall elders stood on top of it, and a vast and boundless aura suddenly shrouded the entire Heyuan Peak. The sky changed color, and endless thunder rumbled in the sky. Every single one of them had bolts of lightning exploding on their bodies, and it represented their supreme cultivations at the Imperial Dao realm. At this moment, the 7 hall elders were floating in the air above Heyuan Peak. That incomparably violent aura made the entire void seem like it was about to shatter. What's going on? All the core disciples on Heyuan Peak stared blankly at the 7 figures in the sky. Who were they calling for? Long Ziyue. Oh my god, what did Long Ziyue do to provoke the 7 hall elders to gather at Heyuan Peak? The 7 elders came in a menacing manner, as if they were going to destroy the entire peak. When Long Ziyue heard the roar in the sky, she did not dare to delay and quickly rushed over. Disciple Long Ziyue greets the hall elders. Long Ziyue's attitude was very humble when she arrived in front of the 7 hall elders. She could tell that the 7 hall elders were not here with good intentions. She was puzzled. She did not seem to have offended any of them. May I know why the hall elders have summoned me? Long Ziyue asked humbly. She was very nervous. The people in front of her were not ordinary elders. They were elders from the 7 halls, and every single one of them possessed a cultivation at the Imperial Dao realm. Their strengths were so formidable that he couldn't afford to offend them at all. Moreover, behind these elders stood the various palace masters. You're Long Ziyue? How impressive. When the Migres Hall elder saw Long Ziyue, he sneered, his tone thick with ridicule. Yes. How can we old fellows be worthy of your personal visit? You can even strip me of my status as an inner disciple? I think I should just give up my position as the disciplinary elder to you. After Long Ziyue appeared, the elders began to speak. Their auras were overflowing and incomparably powerful. However, although they were extremely dissatisfied with Long Ziyue, none of the elders took action directly. These elders held important positions in the 7 great palaces. Naturally, they were not simple characters. They also knew that Long Ziyue seemed to have that existence behind her, so they only mocked her and did not attack her directly. However, after hearing the words of the 7 elders, Long Ziyue was completely stunned. Strip me of my status as an inner sect disciple? I didn't do that. At that moment, Long Ziyue was slightly flustered. However, she had a good temperament and calmed herself down very quickly. The next moment, she bowed to the 7 elders and said, Elders, I'm very confused about what you've said. I think there should be some misunderstanding. He was extremely confused in her heart. Judging from the aggressive manner of these elders, something big must have happened. But what could have happened to make these elders so angry? Long Ziyue, you have the guts to do it but don't have the guts to admit it? You want to send us away with a mere misunderstanding? Hearing that, the Kaiyang Hall elder could not help but speak. He felt that Long Ziyue was trying to shirk the responsibility. Now that the identity badges of thousands of inner sect disciples in the entire ethereal peak have been taken away by someone, I want to ask, Who gave you the authority to take away their identity as inner sect disciples? You're just a core disciple, how dare you be so presumptuous? Now that the entire ethereal peak is in a mess, tell me, how do you want to solve this matter? Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you have someone behind you. Let me tell you, us old bones are not that easy to bully. The more the 7 elders spoke, the angrier they got. Their disciples were already bullied to this extent. They were already giving face to that existence by not taking action directly. What? Long Ziyue, on the other hand, had a rough idea of what had happened after listening to the 7 elders' conversation. After listening to them, she was completely dumbfounded. Sending someone to check the cultivation level of the inner sect disciples? Confiscating the identity badges of those whose cultivation level was not high enough and taking away their identity as inner sect disciples? When did I do such a thing? Long Ziyue was extremely dumbfounded. Elders, I'm afraid there's a huge misunderstanding right now. I definitely did not do such a daring thing. Elders, please investigate this matter thoroughly. Therefore, Long Ziyue cupped her fists and bowed to the 7 elders to assure them. Her tone was resolute. Fufu, you're still trying to quibble? These were all told to me personally by my disciples. Did you instruct an outer sect disciple named Jun Haoyin to challenge all the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak? Let me tell you, you'll never be able to escape from this responsibility. Seeing that Long Ziyue actually denied it, the 7 elders were instantly enraged. Jun Haoyin. Upon hearing Jun Haoyin's name, Long Ziyue instantly understood what was going on. Jun Haoyin must have used her name to challenge all the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak. Jun Haoyin was trying to push the blame onto her. At the thought of this, Long Ziyue could not help but fly into a rage. Initially, she had also guessed that Jun Haoyin would choose to take revenge. However, Long Ziyue had not expected that Jun Haoyin would use such a method. The moment he was accused of being stripped of his identity as an inner sect disciple. Even if she was a core disciple, she would only have a dead end. If he offended 1 or 2 inner sect disciples, it would not matter. However, if he offended all the inner sect disciples like Jun Haoyin, who could withstand that? This was public anger. Quibble. Continue to quibble. Seeing that Long Ziyue was suddenly silent, the Migra's Hall elder said coldly. Right from the beginning, he was certain that Long Ziyue was the mastermind behind this matter. Otherwise, how could a mere outer sect disciple have the guts to do so? In particular, every time Jun Haoyin defeated an opponent, he would mention Long Ziyue's name. Therefore, when every inner sect disciple complained, they would mention Long Ziyue's name. By now, Long Ziyue could no longer defend herself and could not clear her name even if she jumped into the Yellow River. Chapter 84. Elders, I know that no matter how I explain myself, you won't spill blood. I beg you to give me a chance. I want to confront Jun Haoyin personally. Seeing that none of the 7 palace elders believed her, Long Ziyue couldn't help but feel anxious. She then pleaded with the 7 palace elders. At this moment, Long Ziyue's attitude was extremely humble. She was helpless. The 7 palace elders in front of her were all from the 7 palaces. They had great power in the sacred ground. She offended all of them. Even if that person came forward, he wouldn't be able to protect her. She had to handle this matter carefully. If she was careless, she would be facing a bottomless abyss. At the same time, Long Ziyue felt a chill in her heart. No, it was not targeted at these palace elders. It was Jun Haoyin. She thought that Jun Haoyin had backed off and didn't do anything. But he made such a big move and directly attracted the 7 palace elders and all the inner sect disciples to deal with her. Now that he was so ruthless, Long Ziyue couldn't help but feel scared. After hearing Long Ziyue's words, the 7 palace elders frowned. Seeing that Long Ziyue was so determined, they also felt that something was wrong. After a moment of silence, the 7 palace elders made a decision. They agreed to let Long Ziyue confront Jun Haoyin face to face. Anyway, with Long Ziyue's strength, she wouldn't be able to escape from their hands. If it was proven that this matter had nothing to do with her, she would be forgiven. But if this matter was really done by Long Ziyue, no matter who was behind her. If the 7 palaces joined hands and still couldn't punish a mere core disciple, then what was the use of their positions as palace elders? They might as well give up their positions to a better person. With this thought in mind, the 7 palace elders all nodded in agreement and said, "All right, we'll give you a chance to confront that outer sect disciple face to face." Then the 7 palace elders led Long Ziyue straight to Ethereal Peak. On the Ethereal Peak. At this moment, Jun Haoyin stood alone. His posture was tall and his white robes were peerless. A large number of disciples from the Langya sacred ground had gathered around him. Even many outer sect disciples had sneaked into the misty peak just to catch a glimpse of Jun Haoyin's peerless charm. Although a large number of people had gathered, no one dared to get within 100 meters of Jun Haoyin. This was because once they got within 100 meters of Jun Haoyin, they would be directly challenged by Jun Haoyin. At this moment, all the inner disciples on the misty peak had also witnessed Jun Haoyin's strength. None of them went up to fight with Jun Haoyin. They deeply understood the gap between themselves and Jun Haoyin. If they went up, they would only be humiliating themselves. Bang! In the arena, Jun Haoyin defeated another inner disciple with a single punch. What was worth mentioning was that this inner disciple was the strongest inner disciple that Jun Haoyin had ever seen. He actually managed to take 3 moves from Jun Haoyin. You're not bad. Jun Haoyin looked at this inner disciple with a hint of admiration on his face. However, the inner disciple's face turned green and red when he heard Jun Haoyin's words of praise. His expression was extremely ugly, as though he had been greatly insulted. I didn't expect that even senior brother Wu Bufan could only take 3 moves from Jun Haoyin. Yeah, Jun Haoyin is really too strong. Senior brother Wu Bufan is the #1 genius on the Soaring Dragon roll. Even the strongest senior brother Wu Bufan was defeated. Who else can go against Jun Haoyin now? Seeing this scene, the surrounding disciples from the Langya sacred ground exclaimed. Even the #1 disciple in the inner sect was defeated by Jun Haoyin. According to what Jun Haoyin said, those who were defeated by him were not fit to be inner sect disciples. Langya sacred ground's inner sect disciples could all be dismissed now. Senior brother, I'll be taking the token. In the arena, Jun Haoyin walked slowly to the severely injured Wu Bufan and took away his identity token. Seeing this scene, Wu Bufan was instantly enraged and he spat out a mouthful of blood. It's finally over. After taking away Wu Bufan's identity token, Jun Haoyin muttered murmur. At this moment, in the center of the crowd, Jun Haoyin had already reached the highest point of Ethereal Peak. Now, the strongest disciple in Ethereal Peak had been defeated by him. No one in the inner sect was a match for him. Even so, from the beginning till now, Jun Haoyin had not even used 1/10 of his strength. It was not that the inner sect disciples of Langya sacred ground were too weak. It was that Jun Haoyin's current strength was too strong for the inner sect disciples. At this moment he was even confident to fight against an elite of Yuan Dan's level. Moreover, these inner sect disciples were at most true energy realm level 6. It's time to leave. Since there was no one left to challenge, Jun Haoyin was ready to leave Ethereal Peak. Junior brother, please return all the identity tokens in your hands. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded and attracted everyone's attention. Everyone was shocked. At this moment, there was still someone who dared to challenge this fiend. Was his head kicked by a donkey? Hence, everyone looked towards the source of the voice. In the void, 7 figures were suspended in the air and their auras were terrifying. The 7 men were dressed in purple robes and had long swords in their arms. The aura on their bodies was extremely cold. The 7 of them stood in the void and formed the Big Dipper. Terrifying true energy vibrated around them and they looked extremely powerful. The cultivation of the 7 of them was at true energy realm level 8. They are the Chongyang 7. They are the 7 core disciples of Chongyang Palace. The 7 of them have joined forces and their Chongyang sword formation has reached perfection. They are known as the Chongyang 7. Even the core disciples are alarmed. It seems like someone has already reported this to the elders. It's time for this matter to come to an end. After the crowd saw the identities of the 7 people, they started to whisper among themselves. The core disciples were all at true energy realm level 8. Not only were they extremely powerful, but they also had Yuan weapons to protect themselves. Whether it was in terms of status or other aspects, they were several times stronger than the inner sect disciples. Core disciples. At the same time, Jun Haoyin also noticed the 7 people in the void. After seeing their identities he said mockingly, "You are core disciples. Do you dare to accept my challenge? How dare you? Jun Haoyin, you are just an outer sect disciple. How dare you offend your superiors? Hurry up and hand over your identity token. Come with me to Kaiyang Hall to confess your sins." Seeing Jun Haoyin's indifference, one of the Chongyang 7 took a step forward and shouted sternly. The other 7 sons also abruptly released their auras towards Jun Haoyin. If you want the identity token, it's very simple. That is, defeat me. Ignoring the pressure coming from the 7 sons of Chongyang, Jun Haoyin gave a faint smile. Chapter 85. Senior brother, since this junior brother is so insistent, let's fight with him. Just as Jun Haoyan finished speaking, another sword son of the Chongyang Seven stood out. He looked at Jun Haoyan with a strong desire to fight. The other sword sons also looked at Jun Haoyan with a strange look. At this moment, Jun Haoyan's reputation had shocked the entire Langya sanctuary. His reputation was even comparable to some of the pro-disciples. He single-handedly defeated Ethereal Peak, the number one in the inner sect. Since the establishment of Langya Sanctuary for hundreds of thousands of years, nothing like this had ever happened. Now, someone had done it, and in such a domineering and arrogant manner. No matter what punishment Jun Haoyan would receive this time, Jun Haoyan's name would definitely be recorded in the history of Langya Sanctuary. Thinking of this, the Chongyang Seven looked at Jun Haoyan with excitement in their eyes. With Jun Haoyan's current reputation in Langya Sanctuary, if someone suddenly defeated him, it would be equivalent to stepping on Jun Haoyan's head and replacing his previous achievements. Under such temptation, the seven sons of the Chongyang sect were somewhat unable to resist. Clang. In the next moment, without any hesitation, the Chongyang Seven struck. Since they were known as the Chongyang Seven, they were good at the Chongyang sword formation and naturally used sword techniques. Extremely sharp sword radiance shot out directly. Each sword radiance was hundreds of feet long. Fortunately, Ethereal Peak was extremely huge and was protected by the origin formation. Otherwise, under the destruction of the sword radiance, the entire Ethereal Peak would have been destroyed. Look, the Chongyang Seven actually attacked Jun Haoyan. This is the Chongyang sword formation, the ultimate skill of the Chongyang Seven. Rumor has it that they once used the Chongyang sword formation to kill a true energy realm LV-10 demon. When the Chongyang Seven attack, even an ordinary pro-disciple would not dare to underestimate them. Seeing this scene, the countless spectating disciples all let out exclamations of surprise. They did not expect that the high and mighty core disciples would actually attack Jun Haoyan, an outer disciple. Moreover, it was 7 against 1. This was especially true for the swords in the hands of the seven sons of the Chongyang sect. They were all low-grade true weapons and they all came from the same source. Now that they were working together, they were extremely powerful. Instantly, Ethereal Peak was filled with sword beams. Very good, the seven sons of Chongyang, right? I want to see what a core disciple is capable of. Seeing the seven sons of the Chongyang sword formation, Jun Haoyan sneered. In the next moment, Jun Haoyan made his move. Strength of the hell-crushing god Mammoth. Activate. A vast and boundless suppressive force suddenly gushed out from Jun Haoyan's body. Every pore on his body exuded an incomparably powerful aura. A vast aura fluctuated. Jun Haoyan's Zhenyuan was like a tidal wave, surging violently. Then Jun Haoyan threw an ordinary punch at the Chongyang Seven. For this punch, Jun Haoyan did not even use the Celestial Devil technique. With unparalleled strength, Jun Haoyan suddenly threw out this punch. Boom. An incomparably terrifying aura spread throughout the entire Ethereal Peak. Under Jun Haoyan's terrifying punch, the endless sword beams that filled the Ethereal Peak were all shattered in an instant. When the seven sons of the Chongyang sect saw this, they were instantly shocked. They felt that the current Jun Haoyan was like an invincible devil god. Until now, they still could not believe this terrifying scene in front of them. With their strength of true energy realm LV-8, the seven true weapon swords, and the Chongyang sword formation, their power was unparalleled. Even among the core disciples, they were top-notch existences. However, in the face of this punch, they collapsed directly. Countless sword beams were shattered. Under this punch, they felt as if they had hit a giant mountain, and their bodies trembled uncontrollably. At the same time, the vast suppressive force eroded their meridians and flesh. Boom. Under this tremendous force, the seven sons of the Chongyang sect were directly sent flying in the next moment. Their faces turned extremely pale. TSK, too weak. After defeating the seven sons of the Chongyang sect with one punch, Jun Haoyan looked a little disappointed. He originally thought that the Chongyang sword formation that the seven sons of the Chongyang sect performed together would have some ingenuity. However, who would have thought that it would be so weak? Jun Haoyan walked down Ethereal Peak slowly. He did not even have the intention to collect the identity badges of the seven sons of the Chongyang sect. Looking at Jun Haoyan's back view, the seven sons of the Chongyang sect did not dare to attack again. What happened just now undoubtedly shocked the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak who were present. They did not expect the seven sons of the Chongyang sect to be the best among the core disciples. They could not even take a single blow from Jun Haoyan. Who exactly was this Jun Haoyan? This strength was too heaven-defying. Boom. At this moment, just as Jun Haoyin was about to leave Ethereal Peak, several extremely powerful auras suddenly descended on Ethereal Peak. Where is Jun Haoyin? At the same time, a loud roar resounded through the void. An extremely powerful aura suddenly shrouded the entire void. Then 7 figures descended from the void. The aura of each figure was enough to shake the entire Ethereal Peak. It was vast and boundless. Feeling the aura coming from the void, all the inner sect disciples turned pale and their auras withered. Some of the weaker disciples could not even stand properly. They directly knelt on the ground as if they were going to worship the gods. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the figure standing in the void. They were extremely shocked. This is the elder of the 7 halls. I guessed that this matter would blow up. However, I never expected that even the elders would be alarmed. This is a huge matter that concerns the entire inner sect disciples. If the elders don't appear, how is this matter going to be resolved? Didn't you see that even the core disciples could not take a single blow from Jun Haoyin? But these are the elders of the 7 halls who have come personally. When they saw the true faces of the 7 figures in the void, countless people were shocked and horrified. The elders of the 7 halls were of high status and authority. Every single one of them had a monstrous cultivation. Usually they were elusive. Not a single one of them could be seen. However, today they were all gathered at Ethereal Peak. How could they not be shocked by this scene? At the same time, all the disciples heaved a sigh of relief. With the arrival of the 7 elders, this farce could finally come to an end. No matter how strong Jun Haoyin was, it was impossible for him to go against the 7 elders directly. At this moment, among the 7 elders in the void, the Migres Hall elder had an ugly expression. The Chongyang 7 sons were his personal disciples. However, the 7 of them joined forces, coupled with the Chongyang sword formation and the true weapon longsword, still lost to Jun Haoyin. More importantly, it was just one move. Jun Haoyin defeated all of them with just one move. This scene happened to be witnessed by the 7 elders of the 7 halls. This was a complete disgrace to him. Chapter 86. The elder of Migres Palace was Wang Chongyang. At this moment, Wang Chongyang stared at Jun Haoyin and couldn't help but admire him. The outer sect disciple before him was only 16 or 17 years old, but he had such terrifying strength. It was unbelievable. Putting aside the prejudice in his heart, Wang Chongyang couldn't help but sigh. This kid was really a peerless genius. Of course, Wang Chongyang wasn't the only elder who had such thoughts. The other 6 elders had the same thought too. In Ethereal Peak, Jun Haoyin stopped after hearing the voice in the void. His goal was achieved. Seeing that the 7 elders had appeared, Jun Haoyin was elated. He had achieved his goal of creating momentum this time. Greetings, elders. Feeling the pressure on him, Jun Haoyin cupped his fists towards the 7 elders in the void. His expression was neither servile nor overbearing, and his bearing was extraordinary. Jun Haoyin, who gave you the right to challenge the inner sect disciples of Ethereal Peak and take their identity badges? Do you know that this is against the rules of the sacred ground? If you don't have a reasonable explanation today, I will cripple your cultivation, expel you from the sacred ground, and never hire you again. Loud shouts came from the void as the 7 elders spoke one after another. The other disciples were a little surprised. Given the temperament of the elders, they didn't take down Jun Haoyin directly? Seeing that the elders were angry, Jun Haoyin's expression didn't change. Instead, he revealed a subtle smile. With the status of the elders, they could have taken down a mere outer sect disciple like him directly. But in the current situation, was this a chance for him to explain himself? Jun Haoyin had already guessed in his heart that his fame had already reached the ears of the elders after hearing about this event. Even the palace masters of the 7 major palaces had heard about him. A mere outer sect disciple had such strength. These elders must have secretly investigated him before coming. Naturally, they would also know about his sibling relationship with Jun Moyo. If this matter involved the competition between the true disciples of the sacred ground, even these elders wouldn't dare to stop casually. This was because once they made a move, they would be able to determine their faction and position. Now, in the Langya sacred ground, the true disciples were fighting for supremacy, and the various forces were tangled and complicated. Even the 7 hall elders did not dare to casually pick a side. Although Jun Moyo was only a successor disciple of the Disha Echelon, the one who had brought Jun Moyo from Soaring Dragon City to the Holy Land was a Grand Elder of the Holy Land. Therefore, the 7 hall elders did not dare to casually make a move against Jun Haoyin. Moreover, the Langya sacred ground was a human orthodoxy, not a place for demons and ghosts. It had its own set of rules. Before confirming Jun Haoyan's crime, even the 7 elders couldn't directly arrest him. However, if Jun Haoyan really broke the rules, then even if Jun Moyo stepped in, he wouldn't be able to protect Jun Haoyan. Jun Haoyan naturally understood this principle. Then, he looked at the 7 hall elders in the void and said in a neither servile nor overbearing tone, "I'm just following the orders of the core disciple, Long Ziyue." Under such circumstances, Jun Haoyan naturally chose to shift the blame. "Are you telling the truth?" Hearing that, the Kaiyang Hall elder sneered. Then he slowly took a step forward and said, "Long Ziyue, what else do you have to say?" As soon as the Kaiyang Hall elder finished speaking, Long Ziyue's figure walked out from behind. When she saw Jun Haoyan, Long Ziyue's eyes were filled with murderous intent as if she wanted to cut Jun Haoyan into pieces. Especially when she heard what Jun Haoyan said just now. If it weren't for the fact that there were elders present, Long Ziyue almost couldn't help but attack. Taking a deep breath, Long Ziyue forced herself to calm down. Today she had to find a way to prove her innocence. Otherwise, she would definitely not be able to bear the consequences. After pondering for a moment, Long Ziyue said directly to the 7 hall elders, "I swear to the heavens that I have never instructed this junior brother to challenge the ethereal peak disciples and take their identity cards. If there's any falsehood in my words, I, Long Ziyue, will die a horrible death. All of this is Jun Haoyan's scheme. I have a grudge against him, so he's using this method to frame me." Long Ziyue's words were filled with determination and convincing. At that moment, everyone looked at Jun Haoyan in bewilderment. Could it be that Long Ziyue was telling the truth? Everything was decided by Jun Haoyan on his own accord. Injuring a fellow disciple, snatching the identity card, and framing a fellow disciple. If that was the case, then Jun Haoyan had committed a serious crime. Wantonly injuring a fellow disciple, snatching the identity card, and framing others. "Jun Haoyan, do you have anything else to say?" The Kaiyang Hall elder looked coldly at Jun Haoyan and chided. Once these crimes were established, Jun Haoyan would definitely die. Even Jun Moyo wouldn't be able to save him. At that moment, everyone's eyes were on Jun Haoyan. Kaiyang Hall disciples, listen up. Arrest Jun Haoyan and bring him to justice. The Kaiyang Hall elder immediately gave the order. Following the order, a team of law enforcers in black robes walked out immediately. They were different from the law enforcers that Jun Haoyan had defeated earlier. This team of law enforcers had reached True Energy Realm Stage 10, and were considered core disciples. Following the order of the Kaiyang Hall elder, their faces were extremely cold. They immediately activated their true weapons and prepared to attack Jun Haoyan. "Wait!" Seeing this, Jun Haoyan shouted. At the same time, the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant was activated. Suddenly, hundreds of shadows of primordial mammoths appeared behind him. Violent true energy swept out, and a vital energy storm slowly condensed around Jun Haoyan's body. A primordial aura spread out in all directions. Feeling this aura, even the law enforcers who were about to attack couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. "How dare you? You dare to resist?" Seeing Jun Haoyan's explosive aura, the Kaiyang Hall elder was furious and shouted at Jun Haoyan. If Jun Haoyan dared to resist, he had the right to kill him on the spot. "Elders, everything must be based on evidence. This disciple does not want to go against the law. I only want to explain the matter clearly. Could it be that you are going to convict me based on Long Ziyue's one-sided statement?" Jun Haoyan was not afraid in the slightest as he faced the anger of the Mizang Hall's elders. When the surrounding disciples saw this scene, they were all impressed by Jun Haoyan. In the face of the pressure of the 7 elders, he could remain so calm. He was indeed a ruthless person who single-handedly overturned the entire ethereal peak. "Alright, I'll give you a chance. Say it, I'd like to see what excuses you have." Hearing this, the Kaiyang Hall elder said, giving Jun Haoyan another chance. If Jun Haoyan was just an ordinary outer disciple, he wouldn't have the patience to do so. However, Jun Haoyan was backed by Jun Moyo. Moreover, this time Jun Haoyan had caused too much trouble. He was afraid that the Hall Masters and even the Holy Lord would be concerned about how to deal with this matter. If he didn't deal with it properly, he was afraid that he would be in trouble. Chapter 87. After getting the elders' approval, Jun Haoyan immediately looked at Long Ziyue. At this moment, Long Ziyue's expression had returned to its usual calmness, as though victory was in her hands. But for some reason, when she met Jun Haoyan's gaze, Long Ziyue had an ominous feeling. "Long Ziyue, when I went to Alcade Hall to apply to join the inner sect that day, do you still remember what you said to me? Before Long Ziyue could reply, Jun Haoyin began to answer his own question. You said that in the Langya sacred ground, someone with my strength is merely an ant, and I'm not fit to be an inner sect disciple. Long Ziyue, am I right? I think there should be many inner sect senior brothers present that day as well, and they can all testify for me. When Jun Haoyin said that, all the inner sect disciples present were in an uproar. Especially those inner sect disciples who were defeated by Jun Haoyin, and even the core disciples. According to Long Ziyue, if Jun Haoyin was an ant, then what were they who were defeated by him? Were they not fit to be ants? Even if Long Ziyue was a core disciple, she could not insult others like this. Jun Haoyin possessed such terrifying strength, but in Long Ziyue's eyes, he was not fit to be an inner sect disciple. Then wouldn't all the ethereal peak disciples who were defeated by Jun Haoyin be even more unfit to be inner sect disciples? If this sentence really came from Long Ziyue's mouth, then Long Ziyue had undoubtedly offended all the inner sect disciples, and even some of the core disciples. Nonsense, Jun Haoyin, you're slandering me? I didn't say such a thing. Long Ziyue began to panic when she saw the furious gazes of the people around her. Without any hesitation, she immediately denied it. If she offended all the inner disciples today, there would be no place for her in the Langya sacred ground in the future. Oh, is that so? Then why are you so agitated, senior sister Long? Jun Haoyin had expected Long Ziyue to deny it. Hence, he continued, if it weren't for senior sister Long's interference with my strength, wouldn't I be able to pass the inner sect assessment? If it weren't for Long Ziyue's words, why would I need to challenge the senior brothers of Ethereal Peak? All of this is because of you, senior sister Long. Hearing Jun Haoyin's words, Long Ziyue's expression changed greatly. Jun Haoyin's words were simply murderous. Especially when Jun Haoyin insisted that he had said those words. If it were any other day, Long Ziyue could completely ignore Jun Haoyin's words. But today, countless inner sect disciples and the 7 elders were gathered here. If she did not handle this matter properly, she would be doomed eternally. Even the person behind her would not dare to interfere in such an infuriating matter. Long Ziyue, is what Jun Haoyin said true? What other explanation do you have? After hearing Jun Haoyin's explanation, the Kaiyang Hall elder spoke again. He looked at Long Ziyue with a displeased expression. Long Ziyue was truly arrogant and despotic. How dare a core disciple interfere in the inner sect assessment? What did she mean by being weak and unfit to be an inner sect disciple? In the Langya sacred ground, everyone started as an inner sect disciple and progressed step by step. Even he, the Kaiyang Hall elder, was the same. Furthermore, as a Kaiyang Hall elder, many of his disciples were defeated by Jun Haoyin. Didn't that mean that the disciples he took in were useless and unfit to be inner sect disciples? Of course, when the 7 elders saw how Jun Haoyin and Long Ziyue were at loggerheads, they naturally knew that there was a feud between the two of them. By the looks of it, the feud was rather huge. But what about the beginning? There was no need for them to interfere in this matter. However, Jun Haoyin had caused such a huge ruckus that the entire Langya sacred ground was in an uproar. Therefore, the 7 elders had no choice but to interfere. After all the inner sect disciples in Ethereal Peak were waiting for them to stand up for them. Long Ziyue was shocked when she heard the questioning words of the Kaiyang Hall elder. The current situation was already out of her control. If she did not think of a way to resolve it, she might incur the displeasure of all the inner sect disciples. At this moment, Long Ziyue's heart was filled with regret. Back then she should not have lost her cool and jumped out to cause trouble for Jun Haoyin so early. She never expected that Jun Haoyin would actually pull such a stunt for her. At the thought of Jun Haoyin, the murderous intent in Long Ziyue's heart rose again. The most important thing now was to make Jun Haoyin shut up. Once she killed Jun Haoyin, this matter would end here. At the thought of this, Long Ziyue could not help but take a deep breath. She then looked at Jun Haoyin with eyes full of murderous intent. This matter was caused by the personal feud between Jun Haoyin and I. May I be so bold as to ask all the junior brothers and elders to be witnesses? I want to have a death match with Jun Haoyin to end our feud and give an explanation for this matter. A death match? Hearing this, everyone present was shocked and their hearts trembled. Jun Haoyin, do you dare to have a death match with me? Long Ziyue looked at Jun Haoyin with an aggressive gaze. Although Jun Haoyin had shown that he was not inferior to a core disciple in the previous battle with the Chongyang 7 sons. However, Long Ziyue was very confident. She was not comparable to the Chongyang 7 sons. With her trump card, it would not be a problem to get rid of Jun Haotian. As long as Jun Haotian was dead, she would take back all the identity tokens and apologize to all the inner sect disciples. This farce would then be over. Moreover, her reputation as Long Ziyue would rise to another level. After hearing Long Ziyue's words, all the inner sect disciples present looked at Jun Haotian. Would Jun Haotian dare to accept a death match issued by a core disciple? Especially someone like Long Ziyue, who was one of the top few core disciples in terms of strength. She was extremely powerful. Moreover, Long Ziyue had someone backing her up. It was said that she had various Yuan weapons and true weapons to protect her. She was just waiting to break through to the Yuan Dan realm and directly challenge the position of a pro-disciple. At this moment, all the inner sect disciples were looking at Jun Haotian, waiting for Jun Haotian to make a decision. If they wanted to end this farce today, one of them had to be the scapegoat between Jun Haotian and Long Ziyue. One of them had to bear the anger of all the inner sect disciples. Even the 7 elders had quieted down. They looked at Jun Haotian, waiting for his decision. At this point, one of Jun Haotian and Long Ziyue had to die to resolve this matter. On the other side, Jun Haotian was amused after hearing Long Ziyue's words. He was just thinking about how to send her to reunite with Jun Haotian. He did not expect her to come knocking on his door. She could not blame him for being merciless. Therefore, Jun Haotian slowly raised his head, revealing a playful smile. "All right, I accept your death match." As soon as he said that, countless inner sect disciples were in an uproar. Chapter 89. Countless inner court disciples were shocked when they heard that Jun Haotian had agreed to a battle to the death with Long Ziyue. Regardless of the outcome of the battle, Jun Haotian's name would be forever engraved in their hearts. Later, Jun Haotian and Long Ziyue signed a life and death contract under the auspices of the 7 elders. The contents of the contract were, on the life and death arena, there will be a battle to the death. No one is allowed to interfere and no one is allowed to pursue the matter after death. The life and death arena had always been the place where the disciples of the Langya sacred ground settled their conflicts and fought to the death. It had been many years since blood had been spilled on the life and death arena. News of Jun Haotian and Long Ziyue's battle to the death instantly spread throughout the entire Langya sacred ground. It even attracted the attention of many elite disciples. They wanted to see what this ruthless person who had single-handedly overturned the entire ethereal peak looked like. Langya sacred ground. At this moment, countless people were gathered under a towering and vast hall. The hall stood tall and there were over 3,000 golden steps below it. Especially on the 2 sides of the golden steps, there were countless sabers, spears, swords, hammers and over 100 other weapons. These weapons were extremely large, more than 10 times larger than ordinary weapons. Moreover, every single weapon here was stained with blood. It seemed like too much time had passed and the blood had turned black. From the outside, the hall gave off an extremely solemn and cold feeling. It was like hell. In front of the main hall, there was a huge square arena that was more than 80 feet wide and 80 feet long. It was suspended in the void. The arena was chiseled from limestone, and it flickered with flowing light like a dazzling star. This was the life and death arena where the disciples of the Langya sacred ground fought to the death. According to the ancient records in the Langya sacred ground, the life and death arena was created by a meteor that fell from the starry sky. Legend had it that it was stained with the blood of countless demons. It had also experienced countless great battles. Even ordinary Imperial Dao realm and Transcendence realm experts would find it difficult to leave a trace on it. At the same time, Jun Haotian and Long Ziyue stood opposite each other on the life and death arena. In the void, the 7 elders stood in the air. According to the rules of the Langya sacred ground, once the life and death ring was activated, there had to be an elder to protect it. Jun Haotian, I didn't expect you to accept my challenge. At this moment, Long Ziyue looked at Jun Haotian opposite her. Her expression was arrogant, and she once again regained her high and mighty attitude. So what if he overturned the entire inner sanctum? In front of a core disciple, an inner disciple was nothing, not to mention Long Ziyue who had countless trump cards. In fact, she had never thought that she would lose to Jun Haotian. Oh, actually, I didn't think that you would take the initiative to seek death. The corners of Jun Haotian's mouth also revealed a trace of mockery as he spoke casually. When he came to the Langya sacred ground, his first goal was naturally to kill Long Ziyue. Initially, he thought that it would take some effort, but from the looks of it now, it was not as difficult as he had imagined. Are you trying to provoke me? I'm afraid you'll never know how big the gap between us is. Long Ziyue's beautiful eyes stared fixedly at Jun Haotian, and her eyes were filled with fierce killing intent. "This time I'll tear you into pieces." At this moment, an extremely loud voice resounded in the void. The Kaiyang Hall elder slowly landed on the life and death ring, holding a life and death contract in his hand. On the life and death ring, life and death must be determined, and there is no winner or loser. As soon as he finished speaking, the life and death contract in the Kaiyang Hall elder's hand turned into a stream of light, landed on the life and death ring, and transformed into a huge light screen. The origin formation had been activated, and the battle had begun. Boom. Almost without hesitation, Long Ziyue directly attacked Jun Haotian. Violent true origin gathered around her, and gradually condensed into a huge green wand shadow. The green wand shadow covered the clouds and the sun, and it was at least a few hundred feet in size. At the same time, layers of terrifying true origin waves surged out from Long Ziyue's body, forming a true origin storm. Long Ziyue actually had a terrifying cultivation level of true energy realm LV9. Seeing this scene, the hearts of countless disciples were filled with shock. One had to know that Long Ziyue had not been in the Langya sacred ground for long, only half a year. This kind of cultivation speed was monstrous. With such monstrous talent, even an ordinary true disciple could not compare to her. However, while everyone was still in shock, an even more terrifying aura suddenly surged out from the life and death ring, and it tore the void apart. Rays of dazzling light flashed out from Jun Haotian's body. Vast and boundless true essence shot out from his body, and numerous primordial mammoth phantoms condensed behind him, revealing an ancient and boundless aura. This power. Could it be that he did not display his full strength earlier? Just how strong is this guy? This aura is far from the true energy realm LV6. Is he really only at the true energy realm LV6? Countless Langya sacred ground disciples were shocked when they saw the terrifying aura that was released from Jun Haotian's body. In particular, the inner court disciples on the Soaring Dragon leaderboard who had fought with Jun Haotian earlier were even more horrified. They had thought that Jun Haotian had displayed his full strength. Even if they were weaker than Jun Haotian, they were not much weaker. However, now that they had seen it, Jun Haotian had defeated them without even using his full strength during their previous battle. At the thought of this, countless inner court disciples could not help but feel dejected. Even the 7 elders in the void were shocked when they sensed the boundless aura that was released from Jun Haotian's body. Such a young outer court disciple could actually release such an extraordinary aura. At this moment, Long Ziyue was looking at Jun Haotian in the life and death ring. Her expression changed drastically. Jun Haotian was much stronger than she had imagined. He could not be allowed to live. With this thought in mind, Long Ziyue did not hesitate. She immediately channeled her true energy and attacked decisively. Suddenly, rays of golden light flickered around her body. They were golden threads that exuded a fierce killing aura. Golden thread cutting technique. With a cold smile, Long Ziyue shouted coldly. Countless golden threads immediately swept toward Jun Haotian. The golden threads were densely packed and instantly covered the entire life and death ring. This was a top-tier martial art that was close to a divine ability. When cultivated to the level of greater mastery, it could even slice a mountain into countless pieces. Such a fierce attack could even kill an ordinary LV8 true energy realm cultivator in an instant. However, Jun Haotian's expression did not change at all in the face of the thousands of threads. In the next moment, Divine Elephant Overpowering Strength activate. Capital Demon God Technique activate. Hundreds of immemorial mammoth shadows slowly appeared behind Jun Haotian. It was as if thousands of soldiers and horses were galloping. Their aura was monstrous. At the same time, 12 demon god shadows suddenly appeared above Jun Haotian's head. The might of the demon god dominated the world. In the next moment, Jun Haotian threw a punch at Long Ziyue without any fancy moves. Chapter 90. Boom. Along with Jun Haotian's punch, a surge of unparalleled divine might suddenly surged in the void, as if a huge wave had been set off. In the next moment, Long Ziyue's expression changed drastically. Following Jun Haotian's punch, a monstrous power suddenly spread in the void. As for Long Ziyue's golden threads, they were like ordinary threads under the pressure. They snapped with a single touch. In just an instant, the thousands of silk threads that Long Ziyue spent a lot of true origin to condense were all destroyed by Jun Haotian and turned into nothingness. This is impossible. Seeing this scene, Long Ziyue's eyes were filled with disbelief. However, Long Ziyue's hands did not stop moving. She crazily circulated all the true origin in her body in an attempt to block Jun Haoyin's terrifying punch. Boom! In the next moment the two collided, and a thunderous explosion rippled in the void. There was a roar between heaven and earth. Under Jun Haoyin's punch, Long Ziyue's body flew out and crashed into the barrier of the origin formation. Pfft. After landing, Long Ziyue spat out a mouthful of thick blood on the spot. At this moment, her face was extremely pale and she felt as if her internal organs had been displaced. Jun Haoyin's punch just now almost completely shattered her body. This was too terrifying. Countless Langya Holy Land disciples saw this scene and their faces turned pale. Even some of the core disciples were shocked and speechless. Among the core disciples who could have such a violent and rich true origin. Even the 7 elders in the void had a strange look in their eyes as they looked at each other. They thought that the two of them would have a fierce battle, but they never expected that as a core disciple, Long Ziyue could not even withstand one punch from Jun Haoyin. He was severely injured by Jun Haoyin with just one punch. After finishing off Long Ziyue with one punch, Jun Haoyin revealed a cold smile. You know what? Before your father died, I promised him that I would soon send you down to accompany him. Jun Haoyin said as he walked towards Long Ziyue step by step. His body was straight and his clothes were as white as snow. Now it is time for me to fulfill my promise. Jun Haoyin looked coldly at Long Ziyue, as if he was looking at an ant that he could crush at any time. Sensing Jun Haoyin's gaze, Long Ziyue suddenly felt her entire body turn cold. With her arrogant personality, she had always been the only one who looked at others with such a gaze. But now, the ant that used to bow and scrape before her was actually standing in front of her. Furthermore, he was looking down at him with such arrogance. How could Long Ziyue, who had always been arrogant, tolerate this? Jun Haoyin, you forced me to do this. Looking at Jun Haoyin, who was looking down at her, Long Ziyue's expression gradually became a little crazy. Jun Haoyin's punch had completely shattered her arrogant heart. At this moment, she had already thrown caution to the wind. Boom! In the next moment, she condensed the true vitality in her body again, and an extremely powerful aura erupted from her body again. At the same time, a silver awl suddenly appeared in her hand, with terrifying lightning lingering around it. This silver awl was only the size of a human head at first, but under Long Ziyue's control, it suddenly grew bigger. In a moment, it had become more than 100 feet in size like a small mountain, and it was covered with terrifying lightning. This is a treasure weapon. A core disciple actually has a treasure weapon. In the void, the group of elders looked at the silver thunder all with astonishment. After all, even in the Langya sacred ground, only the true disciples were qualified to possess treasured weapons. In an instant, the huge thunder all vibrated and countless lightning flashed on it. Rumble. Terrifying lightning constantly flashed in the void. As the lightning all vibrated, extremely terrifying lightning bolts that were several feet thick suddenly shot out from it. Wherever the lightning passed, even the void seemed to be torn apart. With such terrifying lightning, even an ordinary Yuan Dan realm martial artist would not dare to take it head-on, let alone a true energy realm martial artist. However, seeing this, Jun Haoyin's expression did not change at all. Suddenly, a bright light appeared on his body. The spiritual essence that was inhaling and exhaling from his pores became denser. His entire body was crystal clear, and there were various kinds of mysterious lights circulating around it. At this moment, Jun Haoyin was like a glazed pagoda, extremely dazzling. At the same time, Jun Haoyin did not hide the aura of the yin-yang treasured body. In the next moment, countless yin and yang qi lingered on his body, making him look like a god. With the appearance of the yin-yang treasured body, countless divine lights flashed. Jun Haoyin was as dazzling as the sun in the sky. A powerful aura spread in the void. Jun Haoyin bathed in thousands of lightning bolts, becoming the most dazzling existence. Boom. In the next moment, without any warning, Jun Haoyin suddenly punched out. Bang. In an instant, the entire life and death ring shook violently. Majestic true energy poured out of his body. Jun Haoyin stood tall in the endless lightning bolts, turning into an ancient god of war, and punched out one punch after another. Boom boom boom. Every time Jun Haoyin punched out, the void seemed to shake and collapse at any time. A terrifying aura spread out. Even the disciples standing below the life and death arena felt their hearts palpitate. If it were not for the protection of the origin formation outside the life and death ring, no one would dare to watch from the periphery. On the life and death ring, the power of every punch from Jun Haoyin was terrifying, as if it was enough to move the stars. A vast and boundless aura spread in the void. The thick lightning bolts that shot out from the silver lightning cone were shattered by Jun Haoyin's punches. Boom boom boom. The entire earth seemed to shake, and divine lights shot out, extremely dazzling. One by one the primordial mammoths roared behind Jun Haoyin. They seemed to be carrying the stars and stepping on the 9 hells, suppressing the endless void. No. In the face of Jun Haoyin's monstrous pressure, Long Ziyue's face suddenly turned pale. She realized in despair that her true energy was not even 1/10 of Jun Haoyin's. What made her even more desperate was that her greatest reliance, the treasured weapon, was also shaken by Jun Haoyin. Pfft. A trace of determination flashed in her eyes. In the next moment, Long Ziyue directly spat a mouthful of blood essence on the silver lightning cone. In an instant, purple lightning bolts suddenly surged out from the silver lightning cone, shooting toward Jun Haoyin. Jun Haoyin's face turned cold. The aura on his body became stronger and the blood in his body surged. Then a monstrous blood sea slowly floated above Jun Haoyin's head. 12 figures walked out of the blood sea. They seemed to have crossed time and space, and the power of the demon god suddenly supported Jun Haoyin. Chapter 91. The Power of the 12 Demon Gods. Boom. Jun Haoyin seemed to have transformed into a real divine king. His robe was as white as snow as he punched out again. It was as if the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. A vast aura shook the void. Crack. In the next moment, a scene that shocked everyone happened. The silver thunder cone in Long Ziyue's hand cracked. Jun Haoyin's quintessential origin energy and the strength of his fleshly body tore it apart easily. Boom. Jun Haoyin punched out again. The vast true core strength condensed into a huge fist print and blasted towards the silver thunder cone. The power was so terrifying that it seemed to be able to shatter a huge mountain. Boom. Jun Haoyin punched out again. The silver thunder cone in Long Ziyue's hand could not hold on any longer. It cracked layer by layer and turned into thousands of pieces. At the same time, Long Ziyue's physical body also suffered great damage. Her dantian and meridians were directly destroyed by Jun Haoyin's terrifying true core strength. Puff. After suffering such a heavy blow, Long Ziyue spat out a mouthful of thick blood. Then she collapsed on the life and death ring powerlessly. Below the life and death ring, everyone saw this scene. Some of the core disciples were especially pale. Such terrifying strength could probably defeat all the core disciples. The scene of Jun Haoyin directly shattering the treasure artifact had caused everyone's heart to tremble violently. How many people could achieve such a powerful physical body and true core strength? At the same time, the faces of the 7 elders in the void changed. This young man's strength was too terrifying. While everyone was in shock, Jun Haoyin calmly approached Long Ziyue on the life and death ring. After a few breaths, Jun Haoyin stood in front of Long Ziyue. Now, it's time to send you down to reunite with your father. Jun Haoyin's tone was so cold that it made Long Ziyue tremble. She could feel that Jun Haoyin would kill her without mercy. Jun Haoyin, if you kill me, there will be a day when someone will avenge me. Long Ziyue seemed to know that she would not be able to escape death today. Instead she calmed down. She looked at Jun Haoyin with eyes full of resentment. Revenge? Hee, I'll be waiting. Hearing this, Jun Haoyin smiled and shook his head. Then he stretched out his hand and a huge amount of qi slowly lifted Long Ziyue up. At this moment, Jun Haoyin seemed to have turned into the Azura god of death. A huge, almost tangible killing intent surged out from his body. Not to mention Long Ziyue, even the spectators standing below the life and death ring felt a chill in their hearts. Is Jun Haoyin really going to kill Long Ziyue? Doesn't he know that Long Ziyue has a big shot behind her back? So what? This is the life and death ring. It's a battle of life and death. No one can stop it. But isn't he afraid that the person behind Long Ziyue will seek revenge in the future? The spectators discussed in low voices. Long Ziyue had a big shot behind her back. If he killed Long Ziyue just like that, Jun Haoyin might suffer the revenge of that big shot. Everyone looked at Jun Haoyin on the life and death ring, guessing what choice he would make. On the life and death ring, Jun Haoyin looked coldly at Long Ziyue. He raised his palms slightly. The killing intent in his body surged and the primordial mammoth roared. The sharp killing intent emitted from Jun Haoyin's body made Long Ziyue feel as if she was in an ice cellar. Long Ziyue's face turned pale. She closed her eyes in despair and waited for death to come. How dare you? Stop it. At this moment, a thunderous explosion came from the void. At the same time, the wind and clouds on the life and death ring shook. Following this roar, the void trembled in an instant. It was as if thunder had exploded. A vast divine light suddenly shot out. Countless spectating disciples were shaken by this roar, and a roar sounded in their minds. Then a vast power suddenly descended and shrouded the life and death ring. Seeing this, the 7 elders in the void frowned slightly. However, after a moment of silence, none of the elders stood up. Feeling the aura in the void, they naturally knew who had come. They thought that this matter would end there. However, they did not expect the situation to change again. At this very moment, Jun Haoyan stood alone on the life and death ring. Long Ziyue, who was in front of him, had her true origin restrained. After doing all this, Jun Haoyan turned around and looked at the person who had come. There, above the void, thousands of lightning bolts were surging wildly. Terrifying purple lightning snakes were swimming. In the next moment, the lightning snakes dispersed and a green figure walked out slowly. The green figure stood tall with great power. The aura emitted from his body made everyone's heart palpitate. Although the person who had come was not on par with the 7 elders in terms of cultivation, the aura of a high position that he exuded was not inferior to the elders. It's the true disciple of the Earth Fiend sequence, Xing Shan. I've heard that senior brother Qi has a close relationship with Long Ziyue. I didn't expect it to be true. I didn't expect that even the true disciples would intervene in this matter. There's going to be a good show to watch. After seeing Xing Shan appear, everyone was extremely shocked. The true disciples were the future of the Holy Land. If the Langya Holy Land was compared to a country, then the true disciples were like princes. They had the qualifications to aspire for the highest authority in the Holy Land. Unless the 7 hall masters appeared, even the elders of the 7 halls had no right to discipline these true disciples. In addition, there was an unwritten rule in the Langya Holy Land. That was, even the 7 hall elders and hall masters could not casually intervene in the competition between true disciples. This rule also established the unparalleled power of the true disciples. Therefore, when they saw Xing Shan appear, the 7 hall elders did not stop him. Jun Haoyan and Long Ziyue both had true disciples supporting them. This matter could be considered as a competition between true disciples. Under the circumstances where Xing Shan did not break the rules of the Holy Land, even as elders they could not casually intervene. At this moment, Xing Shan had already walked out of the thousands of thunderbolts. 2 rays of light suddenly shot out from his eyes and shot directly at Jun Haoyan. Let her go. Xing Shan's words were very tough. That tone was as if he was ordering Jun Haoyan to do something. Xing Shan had been watching the scene just now. Although he was a little surprised by Jun Haoyan's strength, Xing Shan did not take it to heart. He was a true disciple and a Yuandan powerhouse. He did not take Jun Haoyan, a mere outer disciple, seriously. Even a monstrous genius like Jun Haoyan. Chapter 92. Below the Life and Death Ring. Seeing Xing Shan's overbearing attitude, everyone looked at Jun Haoyan. Xing Shan was a true disciple and one of the most powerful people in the sacred ground. Besides, Xing Shan's strength could be ranked in the top 20 even among the Earth Emanation sequence. Facing such a powerful enemy, how would Jun Haoyan choose? Facing Xing Shan's overbearing attitude, Jun Haoyan's expression did not change. He said slowly, "Why should I?" As soon as he said that, even the 7 elders looked at each other. This guy's guts are a little too big, isn't he? He even dared to talk back to a true disciple. If you let him go, I'll let you go for your sister's sake. Hearing that, Xing Shan frowned slightly, then turned nonchalant. In his eyes, Jun Haoyan was like an ant that he could pinch to death easily. Wouldn't it be beneath his dignity to be calculative with such an ant? From the beginning to the end, Xing Shan only cared about Jun Moyo. If he were to directly attack Jun Haoyan in front of so many people, it would be difficult to explain to Jun Moyo. Hearing Xing Shan's words, Jun Haoyan frowned. With his current strength, it was still a little difficult to deal with Xing Shan. However, at that moment, a voice transmission suddenly entered his ears. Then Jun Haoyan suddenly smiled and said to Xing Shan calmly, "What if I don't let her go?" "I'll say it again. Let her go." Seeing that Jun Haoyan rejected him again, Xing Shan's tone could not help but reveal some anger. Although he did not care about the ant in front of him, it did not mean that he could tolerate the ant jumping around in front of him. Otherwise he would not mind pinching him to death. Jun Haoyan did not take it to heart. He then looked at Long Ziyue. It seemed that the arrival of Xing Shan had given Long Ziyue hope for survival. Her eyes glowed again. "Long Ziyue, you must die today. Even the Xing Shan won't be able to keep you alive." "I said it." However, just when Long Ziyue thought that he could survive, Jun Haoyin's cold voice suddenly rang in his ears. Jun Haoyin's voice was emotionless. Jun Haoyin, how dare you? Feeling Jun Haoyin's biting cold killing intent, Xing Shan couldn't help but be shocked and angry as he angrily shouted. However, the space of the life and death arena had its own rules. It not only determined who was stronger and who was weaker, but it also determined life and death. The origin formation on the life and death arena would only be removed after one person died. Therefore, no matter how angry Xing Shan was, there was nothing he could do. Let's see if I dare or not. Hearing that, Jun Haoyin sneered. In the next moment he clenched his fist tightly. Boom. An extremely powerful true origin suddenly gushed out of Jun Haoyin's body and swept toward Long Ziyue like a raging wave. Jun Haoyin's true origin was so vast that Long Ziyue could not resist it at all. In the next moment, Long Ziyue's perfect body directly exploded. A wave of true origin chi spread out in the life and death arena. Endless flesh and blood drifted down like snowflakes in the sky. At this point, Long Ziyue was dead. Outside the life and death arena, countless people saw the scene of a rain of blood, and their faces turned pale. Jun Haoyin, dressed in white, stood in the rain of blood without a trace of dust. At this moment, Jun Haoyin truly showed the demeanor of a peerless genius. All the disciples below the arena saw Jun Haoyin's tall and straight figure and couldn't help but feel a trace of admiration. Some of the female disciples saw Jun Haoyin's figure and couldn't help but admire him. However, when they thought of Jun Haoyin's cold-blooded scene just now, they couldn't help but feel fearful. Such a peerless figure was really rare in the world. In the void, the 7 elders saw Jun Haoyin directly kill Long Ziyue and frowned, but they didn't say anything. On the life and death arena, life and death were determined. Jun Haoyin won and killed Long Ziyue. He didn't violate the Holy Land's rules. How dare you? Among the people present, the most furious was naturally Xing Shan. He had personally stepped in but still couldn't save Long Ziyue. This made him furious. At this moment, thunder rumbled around Xing Shan, and a vast divine power instantly descended upon the entire life and death arena. At this moment, Xing Shan was really angry to the extreme. Part of it was because of Long Ziyue's death, but more so because Jun Haoyin ignored his orders and killed Long Ziyue in front of him. An ant-like existence who didn't even take his words seriously. Damned ant. Xing Shan's extremely cold voice rang out, representing extreme anger. In the next moment, a bright Yuandan shadow floated up from Xing Shan, and thousands of thunderbolts shot out from the Yuandan. Boundless heaven and earth Yuan Qi vibrated around his body, forming a violent Yuan Qi storm. With the killing intent in his heart, Xing Shan didn't hesitate at all. The moment Jun Haoyin killed Long Ziyue, he made his move. Vast true essence qi gushed out from Xing Shan's body like the sun. At the same time, a silver spear covered in thunder appeared in Xing Shan's hand. The silver spear flashed with thunder, and the aura it exuded was extremely extraordinary. It was actually an upper-grade treasure weapon. Holding the extraordinary thunder spear, Xing Shan looked like he was listening to the thunder god, and he waved his terrifying spear at Jun Haoyin. Above the void, the 7 elders frowned. They didn't expect Xing Shan to suddenly make his move. After Jun Haoyin killed Long Ziyue, the origin array on the life and death ring had disappeared, and Jun Haoyin also lost this layer of protection. The thunder spear in Xing Shan's hand shot out like a divine light, and in a short moment, it expanded to hundreds of feet, like a spear that could pierce the sky. It was worthy of being an attack from a Yuandan realm master. This attack was enough to move mountains and fill the sea, and its power was unparalleled. Facing this attack, Jun Haoyin looked a little dignified. This Xing Shan was worthy of being one of the best among the legacy disciples. He was really extraordinary. However, although he was very afraid of Xing Shan, Jun Haoyin didn't show any signs of retreating. Instead, he stood in place waiting for the thunder spear to come. I seal the world. Just as the thunder spear was about to attack Jun Haoyin, a cold voice suddenly sounded in the void. The next moment, the temperature of the thousands of meters around the life and death ring dropped to the freezing point in an instant. Then an even more amazing scene happened. Between heaven and earth, it started to snow heavily, and in an instant, it covered the entire life and death ring. In an instant, the entire void began to be covered in silver. Looking at this miraculous scene, all of the inner sect disciples were astonished. Moreover, this was not the most shocking thing. At the same time, above the void, the thunder spear shot by Xing Shan seemed to be blocked by something, and the surrounding origin chi was all wrapped up. The extraordinary thunder spear was directly frozen, and then shattered and disappeared. Chapter 93. Qi Qingshan, if you want to hurt my people, have you asked for my permission? Just as everyone was wondering who the attacker was, a white stream of light suddenly shot toward Jun Haotian and appeared beside Jun Haotian. It was Jun Moyo who had gone out a few days ago. It's senior sister Jun. Judging from senior sister Jun's words, Jun Haotian must be related to senior sister Jun. Both of their surnames are Jun. Could it be that they are siblings? No way. This person is related to senior sister Jun. Seeing Jun Moyo appear, everyone present was shocked. After the shock, everyone suddenly realized something. No wonder Jun Haotian dared to act so arrogantly as an outer disciple. It turned out that he had senior sister Jun's support. It seemed that today's matter would escalate into a battle between core disciples. Jun Moyo, are you trying to stop me? Seeing Jun Moyo suddenly appear, Xing Shan's face suddenly turned ugly. He did not expect Jun Moyo to come back so soon. Moreover, he had a vague feeling that Jun Moyo's strength seemed to have increased a lot after returning this time, which gave him an invisible pressure. Nonsense, if I don't stop you, my only brother will be killed by you. Hearing this, Jun Moyo's face turned ugly. She did not expect that she would almost be killed by Xing Shan after only a few days. In fact, Jun Moyo had just returned to Langya's sacred ground. When she returned to Mo Yushin Peak, she happened to hear someone talking about Jun Haotian. After asking around, she found out. Her good little brother had actually done so many earth-shattering things in the few days that she had been away. First, he single-handedly overturned all the inner disciples and even dared to injure the law enforcement disciples and even the core disciples. After that, he made an agreement with Long Ziyue to fight to the death on the life and death arena. Hearing these things, Jun Moyo, who had always kept a straight face, could not help but feel frightened. When she arrived at the life and death ring, she saw Jun Haotian defeating Long Ziyue and Xing Shan threatening Jun Haotian. Infuriated, Jun Moyo immediately transmitted a message to Jun Haotian, telling him not to be afraid and to do whatever he wanted. She would take care of everything. Therefore, Jun Haotian killed Long Ziyue without any scruples, even in the presence of Xing Shan, a true disciple. Jun Moyo became even more furious when she thought about how she might have died at the hands of Xing Shan if she hadn't come back today. She stared at Xing Shan with a gloomy expression and said, "On the life and death arena, life and death must be determined. Xing Shan, do you want to break the rules?" As soon as Jun Moyo said this, Xing Shan could not help but frown. Jun Moyo was right, Jun Haotian did not break the rules of the Holy Land. However, he had a reason to act. If Long Ziyue died, he would not be able to answer to that lord. Thinking of this, Xing Shan stared at Jun Haotian and said coldly, "I naturally know the rules and I don't intend to break the rules. However, this younger brother of yours is so arrogant that he doesn't even put me, a true disciple, in his eyes. It's not too much for me to teach him a lesson." As soon as Xing Shan said this, the corners of the disciples' mouths twitched. Was the move you used just a simple lesson? Which true element cultivator could withstand that move of yours? Everyone present could see that Xing Shan wanted Jun Haotian's life. However, they did not dare to refute Xing Shan's words. Who dared to challenge the dignity of a true disciple? "Haha, Xing Shan, I didn't expect you to be so thick-skinned. I really admire you." However, Jun Haotian's next words made all the disciples' scalps tingle. This Jun Haotian was really not afraid of blowing things up. If he said this, he would probably offend Xing Shan to the core. At this moment, Jun Haotian did not care at all. Even if he had already offended him, why would he still be polite? Xing Shan wanted to save face, but Yi Shiwen did not give him any. Yi Shiwen wanted to trample on his face. From the beginning, Jun Haotian did not think of being timid. Of course, this was under the condition that Jun Moyo was standing next to him. Jun Haotian's extremely sarcastic words undoubtedly made Xing Shan angry again. Presumptuous. Xing Shan looked coldly at Jun Haotian. This ant was really courting death. If Jun Moyo was not here, even if he risked the consequences of being punished by the Holy Lands, he would kill Jun Haotian here. This person was really an eyesore. However, Xing Shan was a true disciple and his temperament was not comparable to others. Soon he calmed down and his gaze towards Jun Haotian returned to its original calmness. An ant will always be an ant. No matter how you jump around, you can't get rid of the identity of an ant. Looking at Jun Haotian, Xing Shan said. His voice was very calm as if he was stating a fact. Although he was calm on the surface, Xing Shan's heart was filled with murderous intent. No matter what, Jun Haotian's life must be his. Even if Jun Moyo was protecting him, he would find a chance to kill Jun Haotian. An ant also has a time to turn the world upside down. Hearing this, Jun Haotian could not help but let out a sneer. The next moment he took a step forward and walked in front of Jun Moyo. How about we make a bet? 1 year later, I will trample you under my feet. Jun Haotian raised a finger at Xing Shan and said in a determined tone. As soon as these words came out, everyone present was extremely shocked. Was Jun Haotian crazy? Did he know what he was saying? 1 year? Wanting to trample a peerless figure like Xing Shan under his feet in 1 year was simply a fantasy. Although the gap between the true energy realm and the Yuandan realm was only 1 realm. However, the gap between the realms was like the gap between heaven and earth. Anyone who could cultivate to the Yuandan realm could be called a powerhouse of a generation. It was extremely difficult for a martial artist at the 10th level of the true energy realm to break through to the Yuandan realm. An ordinary martial artist would need hundreds of years to break through from the 10th level of the true energy realm to the true energy realm. Even a genius would need at least 10 years if they did not have any opportunities. Not to mention the others, even Jun Moyo, who was behind Jun Haotian, felt that Jun Haotian was crazy after hearing Jun Haotian's words. Even she did not dare to say that he could defeat Xing Shan in 1 year. Do you know what you are saying? 1 year, you dare to say that you can defeat me in 1 year? Xing Shan finally reacted to Jun Haotian's words. As if he had misheard, he sneered and said, You are probably the most arrogant person I have ever seen in my life. Above the void, the 7 elders were stunned after hearing Jun Haotian's words. They looked at Jun Haotian strangely. Could it be that this child had been beaten silly? After witnessing Jun Haotian's strength, they admitted that Jun Haotian was a peerless genius. However, the problem was that Xing Shan was not bad either. Who was not a peerless genius to be able to become a true disciple of the Holy Land? Chapter 94. I've thought about it. 1 year is indeed a little long. Let's make it 3 months. Seeing that no one believed him, Jun Haotian was not angry. He looked at Xing Shan and said calmly, 3 months later, let's have a battle of life and death on the life and death arena. Do you dare to accept, Xing Shan? Jun Haotian's calm words only had one thought in everyone's mind. This kid is crazy. Even the 7 elders in the void had strange expressions on their faces. In their eyes, Jun Haotian was indeed a genius. Whether it was challenging ethereal peak alone or going toe-to-toe with a legacy disciple, all these proved that Jun Haotian was extraordinary. Originally they admired such a genius very much. But now they felt that Jun Haotian was too arrogant. Just 3 months? 3 months and he wanted to defeat Xing Shan, who was in Yuandan's realm. Even if he was bragging, he wouldn't dare to brag like this. At this moment, Xing Shan heard Jun Haotian's provocative words and his face darkened completely. Jun Haotian's actions were undoubtedly looking down on him. He stared coldly at Jun Haotian and said coldly, 3 months later we'll have a battle of life and death on the life and death arena. Jun Haotian, are you serious? If Jun Moyo wasn't present, he really wanted to crush this ant in front of him to death. Just say it. Do you dare to accept? Jun Haotian looked at Xing Shan aggressively and said sternly, Haotian, you're crazy. At this moment, Jun Moyo, who was behind Jun Haotian, also reacted. He tugged at Jun Haotian's sleeve and looked at him in confusion. Sister, don't worry. Xing Shan is just a piece of trash. I'll crush him easily in 3 months. Seeing Jun Moyo looking at him worriedly, Jun Haotian smiled and comforted him. Jun Haotian didn't lower his voice when he said this. Xing Shan, who was standing on the stage, naturally heard it. His face became a little ferocious, and his gaze towards Jun Haotian was filled with murderous intent. Alright Jun Haotian, I agree. 3 months later we'll have a battle of life and death on the life and death arena. Qi Qingshan looked at Jun Haotian coldly. Since Jun Haotian wanted to die, Qi Qingshan would fulfill his wish. At that time he would be responsible for the death of Long Ziyue. Thinking of this, Xing Shan cupped his hands and said loudly to the 7 elders in the void, Elders, please be my witnesses. 3 months later I, Xing Shan, will have a battle of life and death with this person. Hearing this, the 7 elders in the void looked at each other. Then the elder of Kaiyang Hall walked out and said to Jun Haotian, Jun Haotian, are you sure you want to have a battle of life and death with Xing Shan? Once a life and death contract was signed, there was no going back, so they had to confirm it again. Moreover, in their hearts, Jun Haotian was a very good seedling. Although it was a little arrogant, if they could make Jun Haotian take the initiative to retreat, it would also help the Holy Land to preserve a genius. Jun Haoyan nodded confidently at Jun Moyo, then looked at the elder of Kaiyang Hall and said with determination, "I'm sure." In 3 months he had enough confidence to guarantee that he could break through to Yuan Dan. Once he broke through to Yuan Dan with his foundation, it would be easy for him to beat Tsing Shan. "Alright, since you insist, I'll announce that in 3 months, the true disciple Tsing Shan and the outer disciple Jun Haoyan will have a battle of life and death on the life and death platform." At this point, a trace of regret flashed in the eyes of the elder of Kaiyang Hall. An outer disciple against a true disciple, this Jun Haoyan was simply digging his own grave. What a waste of such a good talent. Then, under the leadership of the elder of Kaiyang Hall, Tsing Shan and Jun Haoyan began to sign the life and death contract. Including the one signed with Long Ziyue, this was the second life and death contract that Jun Haoyan had signed today. Regardless of the result in 3 months, Jun Haoyan's move was enough to shock the entire Langya sacred ground. Jun Haoyan cherished these 3 months. Tsing Shan glanced coldly at Jun Haoyan and quickly left the ethereal peak. Before Jun Haoyan left, he also handed over all the identity tokens that he had collected. Soon, the 7 elders also left and the ethereal peak returned to its original state. At this point, the matter of the ethereal peak had completely come to an end. "Haoyan, how could you be so foolish?" In the main hall of Mo Yushin Peak, Jun Moyo glared at Jun Haoyan and scolded him harshly. Jun Haoyan stood in front of Jun Moyo with a helpless look on his face. "Sister, don't worry. I will win." Jun Haoyan opened his mouth and said in a confident tone, "Don't worry? How can I not worry? Who is Tsing Shan? He is a stage 5 Yuan Dan realm existence. I even told him that he is about to enter stage 6 Yuan Dan realm." Jun Moyo looked as if she expected better from him. Her face was red with anger. "Tell me, with your true energy realm cultivation, how can you defeat such an existence?" Jun Moyo was extremely worried. She only had one brother. If Jun Haoyan died in the battle, how was she going to explain it to Jun Songlong? On the life and death ring, life and death must be determined. Currently, Jun Haoyan's cultivation was only at stage 6 true energy realm while his opponent, Tsing Shan, was about to enter stage 6 Yuan Dan realm. There was a gap of a whole realm. In the Wuxian continent, regardless of the level of a peerless genius, there was no record of a battle between 2 realms. At the thought of this, Jun Moyo's eyes were filled with despair. Now that the life and death contract had been signed, even she could not break it. "Sister, actually you don't have to." Seeing Jun Moyo in such a state, Jun Haoyan could not help but speak up. However, before he could finish his sentence, he was forcefully interrupted by Jun Moyo. "Shut up. How did I greet you before I left?" Jun Moyo glared at Jun Haoyan furiously. "I told you to endure everything. Instead you went straight to Ethereal Peak. Is this what you call enduring and keeping a low profile? How dare you sign a life and death contract with Tsing Shan in front of me? Do you have any respect for me?" At the thought of Jun Haoyan's battle with Tsing Shan in 3 months, Jun Moyo felt a headache coming on. Jun Moyo sighed helplessly as her eyes flickered. It seemed like that was the only way now. "Sister, don't worry. Do I look like someone who doesn't care about my life? I guarantee that I'll definitely win the battle in 3 months. Jun Haoyan comforted her again. "You really have a way?" Hearing that, Jun Moyo raised her head and looked at Jun Haoyan suspiciously. "Really?" Jun Haoyan nodded with a resolute look in her eyes. Although she had not seen Jun Haoyan for 10 years. After spending this period of time together, Jun Moyo also felt that Jun Haoyan was not someone who spoke without thinking. "Alright, then I'll believe you for once," Jun Moyo said slowly, expressing her agreement. Although she agreed on the surface, Jun Moyo had her own plans in her mind. If she lost, she could only use that move. Chapter 95. Haoyan, promise me that you won't act recklessly in the future. Do you know who's backing Tsing Shan? Jun Moyo seemed to have thought of something, and a rare look of fear flashed across his eyes. "Who is it?" Jun Haoyan was also curious about Jun Moyo's words. "Holy Son of Langya Sacred Ground, Wang Su." Author's note: He. Jun Moyo enunciated each word clearly, as if he was afraid of this person. The Holy Son. The backing of Tsing Shan was the Holy Son of Langya. For hundreds of thousands of years, the Holy Land of Langya had produced countless generations of Holy Sun, and every generation of the Holy Land was a demon-level existence. These days, Jun Haoyan had occasionally heard some descriptions of the Holy Sun. It was said that this generation's Holy Sun was even more demon-like and outstanding than the previous generations of Holy Sun. Moreover, Wuxia was the only holy son of Langya Holy Land. He was also the first candidate for the position of the Holy Lord of Langya in the future. So he's the one behind Tsingshan. No wonder he's so arrogant. Hearing this, Jun Haoyan nodded his head as he came to a realization. At the same time, he had a feeling that the big shot behind Long Ziyue was very likely to be the Holy Son. As the only Holy Son of Langya Holy Land, he was a terrifying existence. However, Jun Haoyan was not too worried. Things had already happened and there was no point in worrying too much. Counter soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. Now, the most important thing was to try his best to improve his strength. As long as his strength increased, no matter who he faced, he would be able to crush them all. He did not need to use his brain at all. Thinking of this, Jun Haoyan mentioned it to Jun Moyo, then picked a side room and began to cultivate in seclusion. Jun Moyo looked at Jun Haoyan's back as he left. He sighed slightly, but soon his eyes were firm. "Haoyan, I won't let anything happen to you." As he spoke, a silver lotus mark suddenly appeared on Jun Moyo's snow-white forehead. The mark became brighter and the surrounding space became colder and colder. Soon, the lotus mark disappeared and the surrounding void returned to normal. Qingxian Divine Peak in the Qingxian Hall. After Qi Qingshan returned to his divine peak, he thought for a moment and took out a jade talisman from the storage ring. With a thought, a stream of vital essence flowed into the jade talisman. Then the jade talisman began emitting a purple glow at the same time. A terrifying pressure instantly swept through the entire Qingxian Hall. What's the matter? Following the arrival of the terrifying pressure, an extremely majestic voice rang in the Qingxian Hall. Tsingshan welcomes the arrival of the Holy Sun. Hearing the oppressive voice, Qi Qingshan quickly bowed and said. At this moment, this true disciple of the Langya sacred ground appeared to be extremely humble. Holy Son Long Ziyue is dead. Tsingshan slowly reported the news of Long Ziyue's death. What? Who killed her? Hearing Qi Qingshan's words, the dignified voice suddenly became a little angry. Then, thousands of purple rays suddenly gathered in the Qingxian Hall and turned into a purple sun. At the same time, an extremely terrifying aura spread out in the Azure Mystic Audience Hall, and under the envelopment of this aura, even the face of Qi Qingshan, who was about to break through to the 6th level of the Origin Core stage, went ghastly pale. Holy Son, it's like this. Feeling the oppressive aura, Tsingshan could not help but break out in a cold sweat. Then he bent his body even lower and slowly told the story of Jun Haoyan and Long Ziyue, including the 3-month agreement between Jun Haoyan and himself. What a piece of trash to be defeated by an outer sect disciple. The majestic and cold voice rang again. Just as the voice finished speaking, a purple figure slowly walked out from the giant purple sun. The purple figure was wearing a purple robe and had a head of purple hair. His face was incomparably handsome, his eyebrows slanted like swords and his eyes like stars. Every move of his carried an endless amount of pressure, like the existence of a peerless emperor, extremely majestic. Just by standing there, he gave people the feeling that everything had to submit to him. The power he displayed was simply indescribable. This figure was the Holy Son of the Langya Holy Ground, known as the Xiang Holy Sun. Long Ziyue is dead, so be it. As for that Jun Haoyan you mentioned, just kill him. Looking at Tsingshan, Xiang Holy Sun said indifferently. Upon closer inspection, Xiang Holy Sun's figure was a little blurry, as if this figure was not his real body but an illusion. Jun Moyo, you better watch out. If you mess this up again, don't blame me for being merciless. Looking at Tsingshan, Xiang Holy Sun said indifferently. Yes, Holy Sun. Hearing this, Tsingshan immediately responded, but his eyes were filled with doubt. He said, Holy Son, what is Jun Moyo's identity that makes you go to such lengths to rope him in? This was a question he had been wondering for a long time. Jun Moyo was merely a 4th-tier Yuan Dan state, not even comparable to him. Although his talent was top-notch in the eyes of a peerless genius like Xiang Holy Sun, he should not be able to catch her eye. He did not understand why Xiang Holy Sun repeatedly ordered him to pay attention to Jun Moyo. However, just as Tsingshan asked this question, a terrifying pressure suddenly descended upon him. This pressure was like an ancient divine mountain, directly pressing down on Tsingshan, causing his entire body to tremble and his face to turn pale. The vast aura continued to spread, as if the stars were exploding and the sun and the moon were changing. Holy Sun, spare my life. Tsingshan bore the brunt of this aura. He felt as if all the bones in his body were about to be crushed, and the true origin in his body was completely suppressed, making it impossible for him to use any of it. Tsing Shan even felt as if his soul was about to shatter. In the eyes of the Langya Holy Land disciples, the powerful true disciple Tsing Shan was now lying on the ground, trembling like a dying dog. Next time if you talk too much, I won't show any mercy. Just as Tsing Shan was about to collapse, Ziyang Holy Sun spoke again. At the same time, the pressure that was pressing down on Tsing Shan suddenly disappeared. Behind Ziyang Holy Sun, the purple sun slowly rotated, and thousands of purple rays burst out from it. Such terrifying power was simply unheard of. The purple sun Saint Sun lived up to his name as a true peerless genius. Your subordinate deserves to die. After feeling the pressure on his body disappear, Tsing Shan immediately knelt on the ground and said in horror. In the face of someone like Ziyang Holy Sun, Tsing Shan did not dare to show his arrogance at all. Although the figure in front of him was just a clone, it was just a clone, and not many people in the Holy Land could face a clone head-on. Although the pressure was now gone, Tsing Shan's forehead was full of cold sweat when he recalled the feeling just now. He felt as if he had taken a trip to the underworld. Chapter 96. In the Green Shin Hall, Ziyang Holy Sun stood in the air, his aura as majestic as the sea. I see that you are about to break through to the 6th tier of Yuan Dan. This is the Yin Yang Blood Dragon Elixir. It will help you break through after taking it. Suddenly, a bright elixir appeared in Ziyang Holy Sun's hand. With a flick of his finger, the elixir fell into Tsing Shan's hand. In 3 months you must kill that Jun Haotian. Ziyang Holy Sun said coldly as he stared at Tsing Shan. Looking at the radiant Yin Yang Blood Dragon Elixir in his hand, Tsing Shan's eyes burned with passion. He knelt down in front of Ziyang Holy Sun again, his face flushed red. I will not let the Holy Sun down. I will make Jun Haotian suffer a fate worse than death. I will avenge Junior Sister Long. With the Yin Yang Blood Dragon Elixir, Tsing Shan was confident that he could advance further. I am having a gathering with Prince Jiao at the Bibo Lake. I will be back soon. I hope that everything will be over by then. Ziyang Holy Sun said calmly as he looked at Tsing Shan. I will obey the orders of the Holy Sun. Hearing that, Tsing Shan looked extremely respectful. He bowed again and said. Tsing Shan had heard of the Prince Jiao mentioned by Ziyang Holy Sun. It was said that he was the only son of the demon king Juqing Jiao. He was also a peerless genius of the demon clan. He had the same status as the Holy Son of Langya in the Langya Holy Land. Such a person was truly at the top of the younger generation in the Wuxian continent. I hope that you will not disappoint me again. A cold and majestic voice sounded in the Green Shen Hall. Then, Ziyang Holy Sun's figure blurred and disappeared. After Ziyang Holy Sun left, Tsing Shan stood up. Tsing Shan held the Yin Yang Blood Dragon pill in his hand, which was emitting a bright light. A cold light flashed in his eyes. This time, not only Jun Haotian, even Jun Mo was not going to be spared. Jun Haotian Jun Moyo, just you wait. In 3 months I will let you know what despair is. Tsing Shan glanced coldly in the direction of Mo Yushin Peak. Then, with a flash, he entered the secret chamber to cultivate in seclusion. At this time, the matter of the life and death battle between the true disciple Tsing Shan and the outer disciple Jun Haotian had also been thoroughly discussed. Almost all the disciples of the Langya Holy Land were shocked when they heard the news. There was only one thought in their minds, and that was that Jun Haotian had gone mad. He had indeed overturned the Misty Peak and killed the core disciple Long Ziyue. But what kind of person was a true disciple? It is said that senior brother Qi has already gone into seclusion and is preparing to break through to the 6th tier of Yuan Dan. What? So fast? Does that mean Jun Haotian has no chance at all? He is definitely dead. The tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. It is such a simple principle, but Jun Haotian does not understand it. Not necessarily. It is said that Jun Haotian is backed by senior sister Jun, a true disciple. And senior sister Jun is the successor of a Taishang elder. If a Taishang elder intervenes, Tsing Shan cannot say anything. The rules of the life and death ring were set by the ancestors. Even the Holy Lord cannot change it. I think Jun Haotian is dead meat. This is the consequence of offending a true disciple. Almost all the disciples of the Langya Holy Land were discussing. A small number of people believed that Jun Haotian would not die even if he had signed a life and death contract. However, the vast majority of people felt that Jun Haotian was dead for sure. Each of the 108 true disciples of the sacred land was incomparably powerful. The reason why the Langya Holy Land was one of the 7 great sacred lands of the human race. These true disciples played an important role in the sacred land. Jiang Qin, an outer disciple at the 6th level of True Origin realm, wanted to defeat a Yuandan cultivator? How was this possible? Just like that, all kinds of opinions were expressed. The Langya Holy Land had not been so lively in a long time. But all of this, Jun Haoyin turned a deaf ear to it. In one of the great halls of the Mou shrine, Jun Haoyin sat cross-legged in the middle of the main hall with an indifferent expression. At this moment, an extremely powerful and boundless true origin energy flowed freely within his body. Under the effect of the heaven-gorging demonic art, the heaven and earth yuan qi in the void was madly rushing into every part of Jun Haoyin's body. At the same time, the Golden Emperor incinerating heaven's flame was pushed to the extreme by Jun Haoyin, crazily tempering Jun Haoyin's body. The blood essence of the golden winged rock, the power of yin and yang, the ancient giant elephant, the Golden Emperor incinerating heaven's flame. This extraordinary power kept surging within Jun Haoyin's body. Jun Haoyin could feel that his physical body was undergoing a constant metamorphosis under such a violent force. His body had already reached the level of a treasure body, and it was the rare yin-yang treasure body. With the gradual transformation of the yin-yang treasure body, Jun Haoyin was progressing towards the limit of a treasure body. As long as he was given enough time, his treasure body would one day transform into a saint body. Ding. The check-in time has been refreshed. Would the host like to check in? At this moment, a sound interrupted Jun Haoyin's cultivation. It was the familiar sound of the system notification. Hearing the system's voice, Jun Haoyin could not help but be overjoyed. He had made a 3-month agreement with Tsingshan, and it just so happened that he needed to greatly improve his strength. Now that the check-in time had refreshed, it was really timely. Check-in. Thinking of this, Jun Haoyin directly said in his heart, "Ding. Congratulations to the host for check-in successfully. You have received a ginseng fruit." What? Ginseng fruit? Hearing the system notification, Jun Haoyin was shocked. The check-in item this time was actually a ginseng fruit. According to the myths, eating a ginseng fruit could make one immortal. Although the ginseng fruit was not that magical, its effect was extremely heaven-defying. It was a kind of supreme immortal fruit that could be used to temper one's body. Eating a ginseng fruit could transform every cell and pore in a person's body from head to toe, from the inside out. Whether it was the cells or the blood, it was a qualitative change. It was completely out of the human category. One had to know that in the Wuxian continent, only powerhouses who had broken through to the immortal realm could be said to be above the level of human. That was the qualitative change of life. Jun Haoyin now had the yin-yang treasure body. After eating the ginseng fruit, he could directly transform into a supreme sacred body. His body was unparalleled and he could kill gods and demons. Thinking of this, Jun Haoyin could not help but feel excited. Although the treasure body was extremely rare, it was not unheard of in the Langya sacred ground. It was said that the Ziyang Holy Sun was at the treasure body level. But the sacred body was different. It was a peerless existence that rarely appeared in the entire Great Era. Once the sacred body was formed, as long as it did not die, it would almost certainly reach the immortal realm. Only the sacred body could be considered a true peerless physique. Jun Haoyin could not guarantee that there were no sacred bodies in the entire Wuxian continent of the human race. But according to Jun Haoyin's estimation, the number of peerless people with sacred bodies was definitely not more than 5. Chapter 97. Judging from the current situation, there was no holy physique on the continent. This was not difficult to understand. Most likely, any force, even a colossus like the 7 great holy lands, would hide and carefully nurture a saint physique after obtaining it. After all, only a fully grown holy body could be called a holy body. There were more than hundreds of millions of warriors on the martial god continent. However, there were only 5 holy bodies. What did that mean? Although there was only a difference of 1 level, the status of a treasure body and a holy body were worlds apart. Jun Haoyin could not help but feel excited when he thought that he was about to condense a holy body. After taking a deep breath, Jun Haoyin slowly took out the ginseng fruit. The ginseng fruit was named ginseng fruit because it looked very similar to a newborn baby. At this moment, the ginseng fruit was emitting an abstruse and mysterious light, which was dazzling. It was the power of law. The ginseng fruit was indeed an immortal fruit. It contained the power of law. Just holding the ginseng fruit, Jun Haoyin felt that his whole body was about to be sublimated. Without any hesitation, Jun Haoyin picked up the ginseng fruit and put it into his mouth. The ginseng fruit was indeed an immortal fruit. It melted in his mouth. Before Jun Haoyin could taste it, he felt a liquid enter his body. The moment the liquid entered Jun Haoyin's body, Jun Haoyin's whole body was dyed golden. The immortal liquid of the ginseng fruit flowed into Jun Haoyin's body like a golden torrent. Jun Haoyin felt that his limbs and bones had been sublimated. Every cell, every meridian, and every organ in his body shot out thousands of golden lights. In an instant, Jun Haoyin opened his eyes. They were bloodshot and sweat kept oozing from his forehead. At this moment, his body was suffering unimaginable pain, from the depths of his soul to his bone marrow. Even Jun Haoyin, who had experienced several painful tempering, found it difficult to bear such pain. The ginseng fruit's medicinal power was too strong. It was as if a big world had been squeezed into his body. It was unbearable. Whose body could contain a great cosmos? Jun Haoyin could. Jun Haoyin frantically activated the heaven-devouring demonic skill and tried his best to dissolve the infinite power contained in the ginseng fruit. The boundless golden divine radiance was refined by him, and then it flowed into Jun Haoyin's limbs and bones, fusing into Jun Haoyin's blood, bones, meridians, and internal organs. In an instant, Jun Haoyin felt an unprecedented power gushing out from his body. It was terrifying beyond compare. His entire body seemed to be made of gold, emitting an immortal divine radiance. Every inch of his skin, every pore, and even his blood had turned golden at this moment. However, unlike before, the golden divine radiance no longer existed on the surface, and it had fused perfectly with Jun Haoyin from the inside out. Furthermore, that golden color was now completely fused with the mega mammoth seed he had awakened with the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth. At this moment, Jun Haoyin seemed to be able to see the changes in his body. The mega mammoth seed in his body had turned into a golden mega mammoth, and the stars on his back had turned into golden suns. Carrying the golden suns, stepping on the immeasurable hell. Finally, at this moment, Jun Haoyin's physique had transformed. Indestructible body, divine chi and blood, and a saint divine soul. This was the saint physique. But this was not the end. The energy contained in the ginseng fruit was too majestic. As a result, Jun Haoyin's cultivation level had shown an explosive growth. 7th level of true origin. 8th level of true origin. 9th level of true origin. 10th level of true origin. 10th level of true origin, great perfection. In an instant, Jun Haoyin's cultivation level had reached the great perfection of true origin. Just when Jiang Qin thought it was over, the boundless magical power in his body began to surge. Boundless divine radiance gathered in his body and turned into a golden sun, illuminating the boundless sky. Jun Haoyin was shocked and in disbelief. He had skipped 5 levels and reached the great perfection of true origin. Just a little bit more and he would be able to condense the Yuan Dan. Such progress was simply unheard of. This was something that Jun Haoyin had never expected. There was nothing he could do about it, the energy contained in the ginseng fruit was just too strong. If it wasn't for Jun Haoyin's heaven-devouring demonic skill, he wouldn't have been able to completely devour it. Also, he had the yin-yang annihilation skill, a peerless skill that could harmonize all kinds of true origin and energy in his body. It was because of all these that Jun Haoyin was able to successfully absorb the energy contained in the ginseng fruit. Right now, not only had Jun Haoyin successfully condensed the peerless saint physique, it wouldn't be long before he could condense the Yuan Dan with the help of the ginseng fruit. His overall strength would skyrocket. But Jun Haoyin knew that the ginseng fruit had more than just these effects. Sure enough, the golden divine radiance sank into his body. Ancient mega mammoths kept roaring. They stepped on hell and carried the golden sun on their backs, shaking the heavens. In the next moment, 1,000 ancient mega mammoths turned golden. At the same time, more than 800 million cells also shot out endless divine radiance. Together with the golden blood, the radiance was dazzling. Under such a powerful force, the mega mammoth seed in Jun Haoyin's body was instantly awakened. 1,001 seeds. 1,100 seeds. 1,200 seeds. 1,300 seeds. 1,500 seeds. 2,100 seeds. 2,300 seeds. 2,500 seeds. 3,000 seeds. At this moment, almost 2,000 mega mammoth seeds had awakened in Jun Haoyin's body. It was simply unimaginable. With such vigorous true origin, Jun Haoyin could even kill a first-stage Yuan Dan expert with his true origin alone. Of course, this was under the condition that Jun Haoyin didn't use any skills. Moreover, Jun Haoyin was far from reaching his limit. As he continued to refine the power of the ginseng fruit, the mega mammoth seed in his body continued to awaken and condense. The entire hall was dyed golden by his golden aura, blooming with dazzling radiance. Especially Jun Haoyin's body, which had undergone earth-shaking changes. His body had become crystal clear. Every pore and every part of his body seemed to be absorbing the essence of heaven and earth. If it weren't for the protection of the origin formation outside the Mou shrine, the entire Langya sacred ground would have been attracted by Jun Haoyin's actions. How could the birth of a sacred body be so simple? Waves of vigorous true origin condensed, and the golden sun in Jun Haoyin's body became more and more dazzling. When a martial artist entered the Yuan Dan realm, a Yuan Dan would condense in his body. If he continued to advance, the Yuan Dan would be engraved with a heaven and earth vein. Every additional heaven and earth vein represented a new level of cultivation. One heaven and earth vein represented the first level of the Yuan Dan. When there were 10 heaven and earth veins, that would be the 10th level of the Yuan Dan, and a great tribulation of heaven and earth would follow. This realm was also known as the Sovereign Realm. Chapter 98. Jun Haoyin was still a distance away from the Yuan Dan realm. Even so, his true origin, body and energy had reached the limit of the peak of the true energy realm. It was the legendary perfect state. Soon Jun Haoyin closed his eyes again. His body was still absorbing the medicinal power of the ginseng fruit, and the giant elephant seeds were continuously condensed. According to Jun Haoyin's estimation, with the remaining medicinal power of the ginseng fruit in his body, the awakening of the giant elephant seeds would last for 5 to 6 days before the energy of the ginseng fruit was exhausted. During this process, Jun Haoyin was not idle. He immersed his mind into his body and constantly checked the changes in his body to familiarize himself with the sudden surge of power. After all, Xing Shan was a true disciple who had the strength of a 5th-level Yuan Dan realm. He also had various treasured weapons to protect his body, and he had divine powers. Such an existence was far beyond the likes of Long Ziyue. No matter what, Jun Haoyin could not let his guard down in this decisive battle. Moreover, he had some kind of ambition in his heart. In this decisive battle, he did not want to simply defeat Xing Shan. He wanted to crush Xing Shan, a true disciple, to the ground. Only in this way could he intimidate people. Only in this way could he enter the eyes of the higher-ups in the Holy Land and reach the top in one step. Just like this, 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. At this time, the power in Jun Haoyin's body finally began to stabilize. At this moment, 10,000 giant elephant seeds had been condensed in his body. 10,000 seeds. Such a terrifying number. At this moment, Jun Haoyin's strength could be said to be extremely powerful. Even if he faced Xing Shan at this moment, he was still completely confident in the battle. Especially his body, who knew how much benefit it had received. The blood in his body had directly transformed into a golden color. This meant that Jun Haoyin's physique had completely transformed and he had successfully condensed the divine body. His flesh was sparkling and translucent, releasing radiance from time to time, giving off a powerful and terrifying feeling. Jun Haoyin's current saint body could probably shatter a mid-grade treasure artifact without relying on true essence. He could even go head-to-head with a supreme-grade artifact. This was a saint body. The changes to the body were incomparably huge. If he could fully develop his saint physique, it would be easy for him to break through to the immortal realm in the future. Unfortunately, he still hadn't managed to step into the Yuan Dan realm. At this moment, a loud roar attracted Jun Haoyin's attention. A beam of divine light shot out from his eyes. At this moment, Jun Haoyin saw the source of the sound through the clouds and mountains. In the distance, a violent explosion sounded out as a vast amount of vital qi spread out. It was powerful and terrifying. Countless outer sect, inner sect, core sect, and even successor sect disciples were alarmed by this wave of energy, and all of them came out. They all looked in the same direction. Qing Xian Divine Peak, Xing Shan's Divine Peak. Over there, hundreds of purple thunder snakes were swimming around. Purple thunder snakes and vital qi were surging in the void. That vast power permeated every corner of Qing Xian Divine Peak. Even the successor disciples' divine peaks nearby were affected. The violent aura vibrated, and the purple thunder snakes swept across, triggering layers of storms. It was Qing Xian Peak. Jun Haoyin moved his mind. Xing Shan was breaking through to the 6th level of Yuan Dan. And it was nearing the end. Senior Brother Qi has broken through to the 6th level of Yuan Dan. That's fast. Shouldn't he need at least a few more years? Senior Brother Qi is extremely talented, and he's on good terms with the Holy Sun. It's normal for him to break through so quickly. What a pity for Jun Haoyin, who didn't know his place and challenged him. Senior sister Jun may be a successor sect disciple, but she's no match for someone like senior brother Qi. It seems that senior brother Qi will crush him one-sidedly when the time comes. Countless disciples sighed when they saw this scene. Since Tsingshan was about to break through, Jun Haoyin had even less chance of winning. The 7 palace elders also felt that it was a pity. Jun Haoyin was a good seedling. It's a pity that he's going to fall like this. Boom. Finally, at this moment, the Qingshen Divine Peak exploded with a vast aura once again. Hundreds of purple thunder snakes shuttled back and forth. Each of them seemed to have a life of their own and were extremely powerful. Countless people looked at this scene with solemn eyes. Ah! A series of laughter sounded, and the powerful vital Qi blew away the clouds. Qi Qingshan turned into an illusory purple thunderbolt and stood above the void. He was wearing a green robe and was surrounded by lightning, like an absolute powerhouse. Jun Haoyin, I've broken through to the 6th level of Yuan Dan. You're going to die soon. I'll make you regret challenging me. It's your honor to die in my hands. Tsingshan stared at Mo Yushin Peak with an arrogant look on his face. His vital Qi was vibrating, and it hit the array formation on Mo Yushin Peak from time to time. He opened his mouth slightly, and there was a huge amount of vital Qi vibrating. This was a provocation and also a complete disregard for Jun Haoyin. That terrifying aura swept across. Some disciples on Mo Yushin Peak trembled and didn't dare to speak. Their faces were pale and they couldn't bear it at all. That was the 6th level of Yuan Dan, and he already had the ability to compete for the top 15 positions among the Disha true disciples. At this rate, it was only a matter of time before Tsingshan became a true disciple of the Heavenly Spirit Array. Seeing this scene, Jun Moyo frowned. Tsingshan was too arrogant. Such provocation was not taking her seriously at all. At that moment, she was ready to take a step forward and go directly to Mo Yushin Peak. Tsingshan, do you want to fight? Outside Mo Yushin Peak, Jun Moyo stared coldly at Tsingshan, as if she would attack at any moment. Junior sister Jun, I'm here to negotiate with you. Seeing Jun Moyo, Tsingshan's eyes revealed a trace of success. As long as you agree to that, I will spare your precious brother's life after 3 months. How about it? Tsingshan looked at Jun Moyo confidently. Hearing this, Jun Moyo immediately fell into deep thought, as if she was really considering Tsingshan's suggestion. But at this moment there was another roar from Mo Yushin Peak. You just broke through, and you dare to be arrogant in front of me? A voice from the forest sounded, and it was extremely domineering. Jun Haoyin walked out and his voice was extremely loud. Everyone could feel that Jun Haoyin had become stronger in the past few days. But so what? A true energy realm cultivator could defeat a Yuan Dan realm cultivator. How many people in the world could do that? Humph, arrogant. When the time comes, I will make you wish you were dead. I'll show you what the gap is. Tsingshan stood in the void, staring at Jun Haoyin with killing intent. Even some of the true disciples were a little shocked. As long as it was within the rules, Langya Sacred Ground did not forbid disciples from fighting. This was also one of the reasons why Langya Sacred Ground was so powerful. When the 3-month agreement comes, I will kill you. Jun Haoyin spoke again, and his aura was even stronger than Tsingshan's. He was dressed in white, and there was an indescribable elegance about him. All the disciples present felt their scalps tingle. They did not know where Jun Haoyin's confidence came from. After Tsingshan heard this, he snorted coldly. In his opinion, an ant would never be able to regret the heavens. With a cold smile, Tsingshan disappeared into the void. Jun Haoyin also turned around. There were still more than 2 months before the decisive battle between the two sides. Chapter 99. After returning to the main hall, Jun Haoyin sat down cross-legged again and continued to cultivate. Soon an abstruse and mysterious golden light enveloped Jun Haoyin's body. It looked extremely powerful. Tsingshan's breakthrough to the 6th level of Yuan Dan had indeed given Jun Haoyin some pressure. It was beyond his expectations that Tsingshan could break through to the 6th level of Yuan Dan in such a short time. Originally, he had estimated that it would be difficult for Tsingshan to break through within the next 3 months. After all, it took a long time for a powerhouse of Yuan Dan to break through to the next level, unless he had the help of some rare treasure. Every breakthrough to the next level of Yuan Dan was an all-round breakthrough. It was definitely not something that the true energy realm could compare to. Moreover, breaking through from the 5th level of Yuan Dan to the 6th level of Yuan Dan was equivalent to breaking through from the initial level of Yuan Dan to the intermediate level of Yuan Dan. The gap in strength was like heaven and earth. This was also why the Langya sacred ground had set a rule that only those who had reached the Yuan Dan realm were qualified to challenge the true disciples. However, Jun Haoyin had a trace of fear in his heart, but that was all. With his current strength, he was not afraid of Tsingshan at all. However, if he wanted to achieve his goal, it would be difficult to press Tsingshan to the ground and rub him against the ground. After all, Tsingshan was a true disciple. He could not be regarded as an ordinary disciple. Every true disciple was not simple. The only thing he could do now was to cultivate in seclusion and try to break through to the Yuan Dan stage before the 3-month agreement to increase his strength. Since Tsingshan thought that he was a true dragon, then he would beat this dragon into a worm. Without thinking too much, Jun Haoyin slowly calmed his mind and began to cultivate. Just as Jun Haoyin was cultivating in seclusion, the news of Jun Haoyin and Tsingshan's duel to the death increased in the entire Langya sacred ground. In the eyes of all the disciples of the Langya Holy Land, the outcome of the 3-month agreement was already decided. Jun Haoyin was merely an outer court disciple. How could he expect to win against a true disciple, Tsingshan, who had broken through to the 6th level of Yuan Dan stage? It was also because of this. Some people said that they saw Jun Moyo looking for the Grand Elder so that Jun Haoyin would not die in the hands of Tsingshan during the 3-month agreement. However, Jun Moyo returned in disappointment. It was clear that the Grand Elder did not agree to her request. After all, on the life and death arena, life and death were inevitable. This was the rule set by the ancestors of the Langya Holy Land. Even the sacred leader of the Langya sacred ground did not dare to refute him. Ever since he broke through to the 6th level of the Yuan Dan stage, Tsingshan did not go out to show off. Instead, he chose to go into closed-door cultivation. A true disciple revealed that Tsingshan was cultivating some kind of powerful secret skill so that he could kill Jun Haoyin 3 months later. Anyway, there were various versions of the rumor circulating. But the same thought in everyone's mind was that Jun Haoyin was dead for sure. Originally, Jun Haoyin had fought the ethereal peak disciples alone. With his talent, it would be easy for him to become a true disciple in the future. He was not strong enough and did not know how to endure. Instead, he took the initiative to challenge a true disciple, Tsingshan. In the eyes of everyone, Jun Haoyin was undoubtedly courting death. Time flew by while the disciples of the Langya sacred ground were discussing. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. There were only 10 days left before the 3-month agreement between Jun Haoyin and Tsingshan. In the MOU shrine, Jun Haoyin was still engrossed in cultivation. In the past 2 months, Jun Haoyin did not even take a step out of the MOU shrine. In the main hall, Jun Haoyin sat cross-legged. Majestic true essence spread out around him. Rays of golden light flashed around Jun Haoyin, making Jun Haoyin look like an immortal. Sigh. After a long time, Jun Haoyin slowly opened his eyes. A trace of disappointment flashed across his eyes. He was only 1 step away from the Yuan Dan stage. However, this step was like a deep abyss that could not be crossed. There are only 10 days left. It seems that I can't break through to the Yuan Dan stage. Although he did not break through to the Yuan Dan stage, he was not inferior to Tsingshan at all with his current strength. However, he wanted to beat Tsingshan up. Without breaking through to the Yuan Dan stage, he did not have the ability to beat Tsingshan up. Ding. The check-in time has been refreshed. Does the host wish to check in? At this moment, the sound of a system notification rang out in Jun Haoyin's mind like the sound of nature. After 2 months, the check-in time had finally been refreshed. After so many check-ins, Jun Haoyin also discovered some rules of the check-in system. There was no rule at all. The check-in came whenever he wanted to. Could be a week, half a month, or even 2 months. Jun Haoyin could only smile bitterly at this. Fortunately, the system was quite impressive. Every time he needed it the most, it would never drop the ball. Check-in. Therefore, Jun Haoyin muttered in his heart. Ding. Congratulations to the host for check-in successfully. You have received 2 more check-ins. Natty. After hearing the message in his mind, Jun Haoyin was stunned. 2 more check-ins. The system can operate like this? However, after regaining his senses, Jun Haoyin was overjoyed. This operation is good. This operation is amazing. Check-in. Jun Haoyin said excitedly in his mind. Ding. Congratulations to the host for check-in successfully. You have received the Supreme Secret Technique, 9 Secrets of the Supreme Being, all. It was actually one of the 9 secrets of shrouding the heavens, the art of all. When Jun Haoyin heard the system notification in his mind, he was immediately shocked. This was a supreme secret technique that could only be created by the great emperor. He remembered that in the original work, the art of all was one of the supreme emperor techniques. Once it was used, it could increase one's overall combat power by 10 times. 10 times combat power. It was terrifying. This was no ordinary divine ability or secret art. He had improved it in all aspects by a full 10-fold. Moreover, there was no need to worry about the possibility of a backlash. It was like a cheat-like skill. With this supreme emperor technique, Jun Haoyin was confident that he could beat Xing Shan to the ground without breaking through to the Yuandan realm, leaving him no room to fight back. He could completely crush him. The supreme emperor technique was just a casual remark. Right, there was still one more check-in chance. While his luck was good, he should take advantage of it. Check-in. Thinking of this, Jun Haoyin said in his mind again. Ding. Congratulations to the host for check-in successfully. You have received the supreme emperor technique. A thought flower blooms, sovereign's descent. F***CK. It was another supreme emperor technique. Hearing the prompt in his mind, Jun Haoyin was shocked again. His expression was extremely incredulous. He was really lucky today. He had actually gotten 2 supreme emperor techniques in a row. After a long time, Jun Haoyin took a deep breath and calmed his mind. Then he slowly sank his mind into his mind. In his mind, there were 2 abstruse and mysterious runes flashing, blooming with bright light. System: begin the inheritance of 9 secrets of the Supreme Being, all. Without any hesitation, Jun Haoyin began to cultivate the all. Chapter 100. Following Jun Haoyin's words, the abstruse and mysterious rune in Jun Haoyin's mind slowly turned into a word. Wholeness. Jun Haoyin focused his mind on the word wholeness, and carefully comprehended it. Although the word wholeness looked very simple, if one carefully comprehended it, they would discover that it contained a kind of great Tao. The great Tao was a realm that even divine illusionary realm experts yearned for. Sometimes, just one word was enough for a cultivator to comprehend for a lifetime. Wholeness. Jun Haoyin only stared at the word wholeness in his mind. As long as he thoroughly comprehended this word, he would be able to successfully cultivate the word wholeness. Thinking like this, Jun Haoyin focused all his mind and slowly sank into the word wholeness. The current him was no longer the little cultivator from Soaring Dragon City. He had already condensed a supreme saint body. Whether it was talent or physical body, he was unparalleled in the world and incomparably terrifying. With Jun Haoyin's current talent, it was no exaggeration to say that he was already standing at the peak of the martial god continent's younger generation. Although the word wholeness was incomparably abstruse and mysterious, with the help of the system and the aptitude of a saint body, it was not difficult for him to comprehend the word wholeness. After an unknown amount of time, Jun Haoyin continued to comprehend the word wholeness in his mind. Jun Haoyin finally comprehended the word wholeness in his mind. At this moment, the word wholeness in Jun Haoyin's mind suddenly emitted boundless light. It was incomparably resplendent and instantly filled Jun Haoyin's mind. An extremely mysterious power then swept through Jun Haoyin's mind. Boom. At the same time, the word wholeness in Jun Haoyin's mind suddenly collapsed and turned into countless fragments. These fragments were like fairies scattering flowers and directly merged into Jun Haoyin's soul. Jun Haoyin sat cross-legged in the main hall without moving an inch. After an unknown amount of time, Jun Haoyin slowly opened his eyes. If someone were to stare into Jun Haoyin's eyes at this moment, they would definitely be incomparably shocked. At this moment, his eyes seemed to be deducing something from brilliance to loneliness, from brightness to emptiness. At this moment, Jun Haoyin was like a spectator, personally witnessing the evolution of his own body from flourishing to withering. In the next moment, Jun Haoyin felt as if his soul had been sublimated. It actually directly left his body and floated in the void. Above the void, Jun Haoyin was like a ruler. It was as if he could see the entire Langya sacred ground and the entire world. In Jun Haoyin's eyes, there seemed to be an indescribable trajectory appearing between the heavens and the earth, forming a complex and profound law and order. The 9 secrets of the Supreme Being was not a cultivation method. It was an emperor art that could be fused into one's mental cultivation method to unleash all kinds of mysterious and unfathomable power. This emperor. Between heaven and earth, there seemed to be lines intertwining. Unknown heavens, heaven and earth transformed into heavens, heaven and earth, giving birth to an inexplicable power. Jun Haoyan saw the withering of all living things in the Langya sacred ground. Grass and trees withered, turning into soil and returning to their roots. From movement to stillness, they returned to their original nature. It was as if an eternal law was evolving. From birth to returning to its roots, it experienced vigorous life and reached its peak. Finally, when the flourishing finally faded, it became extremely peaceful and returned to its origin. Between heaven and earth there were heavens, heaven and earth Tao. Jun Haoyan's soul, from brilliance to dullness, from vitality to emptiness, and then reversed. It changed together with these inexplicable patterns, capturing their trajectories and evolving together with them. Just like this, Jun Haoyan maintained this state, silently immersing himself in this ethereal feeling. Another 3 days passed. Unknowingly, Jun Haoyan's soul had returned to his body. He slowly opened his eyes, and there seemed to be a divine light flickering in his eyes. At this moment, Jun Haoyan exuded an imposing aura. The golden blood qi in his body could not help but churn, and there was a golden divine light flickering in his pitch-black eyes. Boundless divine power, resplendent divine light. At this moment, Jun Haoyan was like a true god of war. His aura was unparalleled. No matter who it was, he dared to fight. Fight. Battle sacred technique. At this moment, Jun Haoyan finally understood the wholeness formula. Unfortunately, it would take some time to fully master it and unleash 10 times the combat strength of each move. But this was enough. Without much hesitation, Jun Haoyan once again calmed his mind. Because he already felt it. In his body the Yuan Dan was gradually taking shape. Just a little more. Looking at the embryonic form of the Yuan Dan, Jun Haoyan murmured. If he could maintain that state, he would be able to completely condense the Yuan Dan before the final battle within 3 days. However, Jun Haoyan was not worried. He still had a chance to maintain that state. This was because there was another powerful monarch art in his mind. With a thought, flowers bloom and reign supreme. With this thought in mind, Jun Haoyan slowly focused his mind and probed the remaining abstruse and mysterious rune in his mind with his soul power. Bus. And just as Jun Haoyan activated that emperor technique, a vast divine light shot out. In the next moment, streaks of divine light shone, together with the river of time. In Jun Haoyan's mind, a woman walked out of the river of time, aloof from the world. She stood quietly at the end of the river of time, looking peerless. Beside the woman, petals bloomed one after another, sparkling and translucent as they danced in the air. Every petal could transform into a real body. When used, it could destroy the heavens and the earth. With a thought, flowers bloom and reign supreme. Looking at this scene, Jun Haoyan's heart trembled. In the original novel, this emperor technique was created by the most talented woman since ancient times. She was so talented that she suppressed the 9 heavens and 10 earths as a woman. She was truly a supreme figure. As Jun Haoyan comprehended the supreme monarch technique in his mind, he felt as if he was a bystander watching ruthless life. At the same time, endless divine light spread out from Jun Haoyan's body. In every ray of divine light, hazy petals bloomed. Beautiful, powerful, domineering. All kinds of auras intertwined together. It was also at this moment that the vast true Yuan in Jun Haoyan's Dantian finally underwent a qualitative change. Endless golden divine light intertwined with the petals, forming an incomparably beautiful scene. A huge Yuan Dan stood in Jun Haoyan's Dantian, as dazzling as the sun. At this moment, an endless aura exploded from Jun Haoyan's body, sweeping out from inside to outside. That majestic and vast aura seemed to suppress the heavens and earth, stirring up the clouds in the 9 heavens. At this moment, New Year's Day was complete. Today, Jun Haoyan had finally stepped into the first stage of Yuan Dan realm. At the same time, the immemorial mammoth seeds in Jun Haoyan's body quickly formed. One by one, the immemorial mammoth seeds awakened continuously. In less than a moment, there were 10,000 new immemorial mammoth seeds in Jun Haoyan's body. Chapter 101. The number of mammoth seeds in Jun Haoyan's body skyrocketed, but this was not his limit. Before breaking through to the second level of Yuan Dan realm, Jun Haoyan could only awaken 30,000 mammoth seeds at the peak of the first level of Yuan Dan realm. At the moment, he still had some way to go before he could awaken 30,000 mammoth seeds. Once he broke through to the second level of the Golden Core realm, he would be able to complete the first level of the Divine Elephant Overpowering Force. At that time, he would be able to comprehend another terrifying divine ability, the Spear of the Underworld Deity. However, Jun Haoyin had just broken through and needed to stabilize his cultivation base. Just like that, another period of time passed. During these days, Jun Haoyin continuously used the demonic heaven-devouring art to awaken more mammoth seeds. At the moment, Jun Haoyin had already awakened 30,000 mammoth seeds in his body, standing at the limit of the first level of the Yuandan realm. At the moment, the power in his body was incomparably terrifying. Every move he made could stir up the void. This kind of power could no longer be measured by numbers. If he added the wholeness formula and the heavenly demonic technique, even if Tsing Shan had a supreme-grade treasure to protect himself, Jun Haoyin was confident that he could destroy Tsing Shan's treasure body and grind him to the ground. Rumble. At that moment, the formation around him was deactivated. Jun Moyo walked in with a frown. Haoyin, I went to see the Supreme Elder, but obviously Jun Moyo was very worried that Jun Haoyin would die in the life and death ring. Sister, it's okay. Seeing this, Jun Haoyin smiled and stood up. His white robe was peerless and his elegance was unparalleled. He stood in front of Jun Moyo with a faint smile and slowly exuded his aura. Yo, this is the Yuandan realm? Jun Moyu's expression was incomparably shocked as he felt the true essence that was constantly surging out of Jun Haoyin's body. How long has it been? He broke through to the Yuandan realm? This was too inconceivable. However, she quickly calmed down. Even if he broke through to the Yuandan realm, today was the day of the final battle. Jun Haoyin could not defeat Tsing Shan. Just as Jun Moyo was about to say something, Jun Haoyin took a step forward. In the next moment he appeared in the void outside of Mou Shrine. Standing in the void, Jun Haoyin's true yuan surged around his body, his expression cold. Tsing Shan, get out here and die. Suddenly, a loud roar resounded in the sky above the Langya sacred ground. This roar contained a terrifying amount of true essence that shattered the clouds in the sky. Many heavenly mountain, the peak, in the holy. Hearing this terrifying sound, the outer court, inner court, core disciples, and even the successor disciples were all alarmed. Then they all walked out. At this moment, Jun Haoyin was standing in the air. His white robe fluttered in the absence of wind. He looked peerless and powerful. In a trance, some people saw flower petals blooming around Jun Haoyin. Every petal seemed to contain a world. This person has broken through to the Yuandan realm. A disciple walked out and recognized Jun Haoyin in the void. His face was full of shock. Originally, an outer disciple like Jun Haoyin would not be able to attract their attention, let alone recognize him. But 3 months ago, Jun Haoyin had caused such a huge commotion that even these disciples had to pay attention to him. In just 3 months he has broken through to the Yuandan realm? Unbelievable, it's unbelievable. But even if he has broken through to the Yuandan realm, can he defeat Tsing Shan, who is at the 6th degree of Yuandan realm? The elders of the 7 main halls had all appeared. They were also shocked. However, everyone thought that it was impossible for Jun Haoyin to be a match for Qi Qingshan, a veteran inherited disciple. The gap between their cultivation levels was too big. After Jun Haoyin's voice was heard, it seemed that the entire Langya sacred ground was alarmed. People started to move around. Even the 7 main halls were swept by terrifying soul energy from time to time. The owners of these soul energy were the elders of the 7 main halls. They were the living hall masters of the Langya sacred ground. As for Jun Moyo, he was still standing on the Mou divine peak. She looked at the little boy that she had once held in her arms. He had become so powerful. It seemed that she had underestimated him. Rumble. At this moment, there was another roar in the void. Purple lightning snakes swam around the Qingshen divine peak. When they faced Jun Haoyin, they triggered all kinds of powerful lightning. It seemed to be a provocation. Umph. A cold snort was heard. Tsing Shan walked out slowly from the divine peak. He stood on the hundreds of lightning snakes and looked at Jun Haoyin coldly. It's unbelievable that you have broken through to the Yuandan realm. Feeling the aura of Jun Haoyin, Tsing Shan was shocked. But soon it turned into endless coldness. Jun Haoyin, on this continent, only the living geniuses are the real heavens chosen. You will soon become a dead man. Although Tsing Shan had only broken through to the first Dan realm, his strength seemed to have increased by more than a few times. It was said that he had cultivated a powerful, remarkable power during this period of time. Now it seemed that it was indeed as the rumors said. Haha, don't talk so much nonsense. Today I will kill you like killing a chicken. Jun Haoyin's lips curled into a smile. But the words that came out of his mouth made people feel a chill in their hearts. The overbearingness in his words made all the disciples' scalps tingle. Alright, then I will wait for you to show your skills. Come on, let's fight to the death on the life and death arena. Hearing this, Xing Shan smiled coldly. It was useless to say anything more. Only true strength was everything. It was undeniable that Xing Shan had the right to be arrogant. He was a successor disciple and extremely talented. In the face of Jun Haotian, who had suddenly appeared, he was naturally disdainful. Whoosh, whoosh, in the next moment, the two of them turned into flowing lights and rushed directly to the life and death arena of the Langya sanctuary. Since then, the tens of thousands of disciples in the sanctuary looked at each other and also rushed to the life and death arena. The various elders were still in the void. One by one, the successor disciples walked out one after another. They stood there, each of them shooting out a beam of light from their bodies, as if they could rush up to the 9 levels of heaven. At first, in everyone's eyes, Jun Haotian could only be crushed. But now, Jun Haotian had also broken through to the Yuandan realm. With such talent, there would definitely be a fierce battle between the two of them. On the life and death arena, Jun Haotian and Xing Shan stood opposite each other. Waves of primordial qi storms shook, and it was boundless and terrifying. The spiritual ether of the Yuandan realm was so rich that it was completely incomparable to the true energy realm. This battle was much more powerful than the previous one between Jun Haotian and Long Ziyue. Although they had not made a move yet, in terms of momentum, they had accumulated to the limit. Especially Xing Shan, the purple thunder snakes around his body were extremely violent, as if they were a primordial species. The vast supernatural power swept across, endless. On the other hand, Jun Haotian stood where he was as calm as ever. In terms of momentum, Jun Haotian was still slightly inferior to Xing Shan. On the life and death arena, life and death must be determined. The elder of law enforcement of Kaiyang Hall stood up again. He had no choice. This was considered a matter of his Kaiyang Hall. A life and death battle on the life and death arena, which had not happened for decades, was now happening twice in just a few months. He was also helpless. However, the life and death contract had been set, and everything was settled. Chapter 102. Boom. As soon as the Kaiyang Hall elder finished speaking, he threw the life and death contract in his hand toward the life and death ring. The moment the life and death contract approached the life and death ring, it suddenly turned into a light screen and shrouded the entire life and death ring. The life and death contract was the key to opening the life and death ring's origin array. With the protection of the origin array, no one could enter the life and death ring unless an immortal realm expert intervened. All of this ensured the fairness of the life and death ring. The moment the life and death ring's origin array was activated, Xing Shan could no longer suppress the killing intent in his heart and began to prepare for an attack. In the next moment, streaks of lightning snakes shot out from his body. It was breathtaking. Streaks of purple lightning snakes seemed to have broken through the sky. They grew from a few hundred feet to a few thousand feet in size. If it were not for the light screen, they would have broken through the clouds. Countless disciples below the level of true disciple were shocked and did not dare to speak. This was the power of a Yuandan expert. His true origin was incomparably vigorous and powerful. Purple thunder blast. Xing Shan let out a long roar. This was the superpower that he had cultivated and was one of the top superpowers. The purple lightning wreaked havoc in the entire life and death ring as if the entire void was shaking. The ancient life and death arena was shaking, emitting a series of rumbling sounds. The vast true origin swept out like a tidal wave. On the life and death ring, hundreds and thousands of purple lightning snakes swam crazily, turning the entire life and death ring into a sea of lightning. Xing Shan, on the other hand, looked indifferent in the sea of lightning as if he was the god of thunder. At this moment, Xing Shan finally revealed his full strength. With just a glance, one could see how powerful he was and how extraordinary his temperament was. Seeing this scene, the surrounding true disciples all had somewhat grave expressions appear on their faces. Some of the elders nodded in satisfaction, their eyes filled with admiration. I didn't expect Xing Shan to have such a high level of attainment in the Purple Thunder Blast. I wonder how Jun Haotian will withstand the Purple Thunder Blast, which has always been known for its overbearing power. In front of absolute power, no matter how many moves you have, they are all useless. An elder said slowly. The power that Xing Shan was exuding right now was not something that someone who had just entered the Yuandan realm could resist. Rumble. At this moment, Xing Shan's spirit power finally reached its limit, and a terrifying aura swept out towards the surroundings of the life and death ring. Tens of thousands of lightning snakes poured out, as if they were primordial mutants that were rioting. Unfortunately, due to the cover of the Sea of Lightning, Xing Shan's divine might could not be seen by anyone other than the elders. At this moment, opposite Xing Shan, Jun Haoyin kept a smile on his face as he watched Xing Shan's performance. Jun Haoyin shook his head in the face of the monstrous thunderbolts that filled the life and death arena. He said softly, "Fancy." The next moment he moved. Celestial Fiend Celestial Arts, activate. Endless blood mist rose, forming a boundless sea of blood. 12 supreme Fiend Celestial shadows slowly walked out of the sea of blood. These Fiend Celestials stood proudly between heaven and earth, supporting Jun Haoyin's physical body. Without any unnecessary movements, Jun Haoyin clenched his fist, and the physical strength that belonged to the divine body in his body burst out like a meteor. Boom! The next moment, a huge roar shook the heavens and the earth. Wherever the fist landed, it was as if the void was shattered and the stars were shattered. All of this was like the attack of a divine emperor, covering the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Boom! It was a simple punch, but it was filled with a terrifying and tyrannical power. Xing Shan was indeed powerful, but one should know that Jun Haoyin had awakened 30,000 primordial mammoth seeds in his body. Although this punch was not his strongest power, the power that it contained was truly terrifying. All of the purple lightning snakes exploded in an instant, turning into the chi of heaven and earth. The entire life and death ring kept roaring, and the array formation outside was shaking. The power of Jun Haoyin's punch was really too strong, and it was impossible to estimate. The power of this punch not only crushed all of the purple lightning snakes in the life and death ring. It also had an indomitable force, and it directly landed in front of Xing Shan. Rumble! Like a thunderclap, Xing Shan's face changed drastically, and his body kept retreating. He mobilized all the strength in his body to resist the threat of Jun Haoyin's punch. Boom! On the light screen there was another roar, and Xing Shan almost crashed into the light screen. The true essence that he had just gathered was shattered. In an instant heaven and earth fell silent. He was proud of the top Abijna purple thunder blast that he cultivated, but in front of Jun Haoyin, it could not withstand a single move. The strength of this true essence? This kind of absolute power? Is this Jun Haoyin really at the first stage of Yuan Dan? It's really too scary. One punch, just one punch. That punch from Jun Haoyin just now, I'm afraid it's at least at the level of a supreme Abijna technique. Some of the true disciples were shocked to see this scene. What would they do if they faced Jun Haoyin? Upon seeing this scene, the 7 hall elders trembled slightly. They clearly saw Jun Haoyin's strength increase by leaps and bounds. 3 months ago, Jun Haoyin was just an ant at the 6th stage of the True Essence realm. Who would have thought that 3 months later he would have the strength to crush Xing Shan? Very good, Jun Haoyin, I admit that I underestimated you. Now you are qualified to see my true strength. After calming the churning blood in his body, Xing Shan stared coldly at Jun Haoyin. Although Xing Shan looked calm on the surface, no one knew the shock in his heart. Just a moment ago he felt that his entire body was almost shattered by Jun Haoyin's punch. Although a Yuan Dan expert could still survive after his body was shattered, his combat strength would be greatly reduced. He was extremely shocked by Jun Haoyin's strength. It seems that if I want to kill Jun Haoyin, I have to show my true strength. Staring coldly at Jun Haoyin, Xing Shan secretly made a decision in his heart. In the next moment, Xing Shan moved again. A black blood flag appeared in his hand. The moment this blood flag appeared, a monstrous murderous aura filled the entire combat ring. In an instant, the blood flag grew from its original size of a few feet to a height of 100 feet. On the blood flag, there were flashes of demonic shadows. These shadows were humanoid, but the difference was that each of them was extremely tall and ugly. They looked terrifying and ferocious. Countless of these demonic shadows joined together, as if forming a special elemental formation. Ka. Demonic shadows walked out of the blood flag, making strange noises like demons. It's the supreme grade Shura demon flag. These demonic shadows are the Shura demons that died under the Shura demon flag. There are a total of 360 Shura demons, and each of them is at least at the 8th stage of the True Essence realm. The Shura demon flag is a soul-extinguishing formation formed by the Shura demons. I'm afraid that it can easily kill a Yuan Dan expert. Once the Shura demon flag is out, Jun Haoyin is in danger. A disciple recognized the origin of this blood flag and immediately exclaimed in horror. This was Xing Shan's most powerful move. No one knew how many Yuandan experts had been killed by this demonic flag. At this moment, Xing Shan had finally refined it. Activating the Shura demon flag with his powerful true essence, the entire combat ring was filled with murderous aura, and chilly winds blew. It was like a hell of Shura. This kind of evil and ferocious power was not something an ordinary warrior could resist. Not good. Seeing this scene, even Jun Moyo's expression changed. Chapter 103. How is this possible? I clearly remember that Xing Shan's Azura demon flag only had 180 demonic souls. How could the number of demonic souls suddenly double? Jun Moyo looked at Xing Shan's flag in disbelief. She had fought with Xing Shan before, so she naturally knew the power of the Azura demon flag. Could it be? Thinking about Xing Shan's recent seclusion, Jun Moyo suddenly understood. It turned out that Xing Shan's talk about cultivating divine abilities was just a cover-up. His real goal was to refine this supreme-grade precious weapon. Jun Haotian, the Azura demon flag's soul annihilation formation is something that even a 7th or 8th stage Yuandan cultivator wouldn't dare to face. Let's see how you're going to break it. Xing Shan looked at Jun Haotian with a sinister smile. Then, without holding back, he activated the Azura demon flag. In the next moment, 360 demonic souls roared and swept towards Jun Haotian like yakshas. They madly eroded Jun Haotian's true yuan, as if they wanted to drag him into hell. When Jun Haotian saw these Azura devil souls, he revealed a mocking expression. Using such evil energy against me, you're really digging your own grave. In the next moment, the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth was activated. Then, numerous golden primordial mammoths slowly appeared behind Jun Haotian. Each of them carried a sun on their back and stepped on hell. The strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth. With the bearing of a god, it suppressed hell forever. It could be said that the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth was the nemesis of such evil energy. In the next moment, the ancient mammoths roared, shaking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. At this moment, Jun Haotian didn't want to waste any more time. He wanted to end the battle quickly. In the next moment, the wholeness secret technique was activated. Instantly, his battle prowess increased tenfold. Boom. Jun Haotian's aura, which was more than 10 times stronger than before, suddenly emitted from his body and swept towards the surroundings of the life and death ring. The archaic mammoths grew in size, trampling on the heavens and killing deities. Under the boundless suppressive aura, the Azura demonic souls seemed to have met their nemesis and directly exploded. When the demonic soul shattered, the soul annihilation evil spirit array was naturally broken as well. Boundless chi rampaged on the life and death platform. In the next moment, Jun Haotian slowly took a step forward. Heaven and earth seemed to be rumbling as boundless aura surged. Xing Shan directly punched towards Xing Shan with a tenfold increase in combat power. Boom. It was an ordinary punch, but it seemed like it was going to tear the entire space apart. Seeing the power of Jun Haotian's punch, everyone present, including the true disciples and the 7 hall elders, stood up, their faces filled with disbelief. Was such a terrifying punch really something that a martial artist who had just broken through to the Yuandan realm could perform? Boom, boom, boom. As Jun Haotian's punch approached Xing Shan, wherever it passed, space rumbled and the entire life and death ring trembled. Even the evil spirit in the air disappeared completely. Crack. In the next moment, Xing Shan looked at the Azura demonic flag in his hand in disbelief. A dignified supreme-grade artifact was actually shattered. The Azura demonic flag was directly torn apart and turned into a rag. Jun Haotian's punch had not completely landed, and a supreme-grade artifact was already shattered. No. Impossible. At this moment, Xing Shan's soul was palpitating. In his eyes, Jun Haotian had turned into a god who ruled over the life and death of all living things. This punch was less than 3 meters away from him, but cracks had already appeared on his body. Countless drops of blood spurted out. Xing Shan's body seemed to have turned into porcelain and was about to shatter. It was just like what the elder said. In the face of absolute power, any moves and tricks were laughable. This punch had not completely landed, and it was about to extinguish Xing Shan's spiritual fire. In the face of a life-or-death crisis, Xing Shan suddenly fell into madness. He frantically took out the treasures in his hand and attacked Jun Haotian. As a true disciple of Langya Holy Land and a confidant of Xiang Holy Sun, Xing Shan naturally had a lot of treasures on him. There were true weapons and precious weapons, and there were hundreds of them. At this moment he desperately used these treasures in an attempt to resist Jun Haotian's terrifying power. but everything he did was in vain. Before the treasures he took out could touch Jun Haoyin, they were crushed into powder by the suppressive force in the void. Hundreds of treasures only made Jun Haoyin's fist pause for a moment. Boom! In the next moment, Jun Haoyin's fist had already arrived in front of Tsing Shan. It was less than an inch. Tsing Shan would definitely die under this punch. With his physical body, there was no way he could withstand such a terrifying punch. However, at this moment, a purple divine pearl emerged from Tsing Shan's body. In an instant, tens of thousands of purple rays pierced the sky. Jun Haoyin's incomparably terrifying punch was actually blocked by this purple light. At the same time, a figure walked out of the vast purple light. Like an emperor, he had the bearing of a monarch. Who's there? Seeing that the violet light had blocked him, Jun Haoyin immediately stopped and looked at the violet light solemnly. Although he knew that the figure in front of him was not the real body. Even so, he could still feel that this person was really strong. At this moment, everyone below the combat ring looked at him. When the purple light dissipated, the figure appeared. He was wearing a purple robe and had purple hair. He had a handsome face and an extraordinary aura. He stood there and protected Tsing Shan behind him. The complexions of the true disciples changed when they saw the face of this person. Even Jun Mo's complexion had become very dignified. The 7 elders could no longer sit in the void calmly and kept frowning. It's the Holy Sun. Xiang Holy Sun, the Holy Sun of Langya Sacred Ground. Why is he in the combat ring? Didn't the Holy Sun go to the demon clan as a guest? This is the clone of the Holy Sun, not the real body. A true disciple spoke and confirmed the origin of that person. Although it was still the Xiang Holy Sun, it was not the real body. No one expected the Holy Sun to appear at this moment. Let him go. At this moment, the figure of the Xiang Holy Sun said slowly in the combat ring. He was very calm and just stood there. Even in the face of Jun Haoyin's powerful true essence, his heart did not waver at all. I guess you're the big shot behind Long Ziyue and Tsing Shan, right? Jun Haoyin looked at the purple figure in front of him and confirmed his origin. You guessed right. The big shot behind Long Ziyue was the Holy Sun of Langya Sacred Ground. He was the future supreme figure of the entire Langya Sacred Ground. Let him go and I'll let bygones be bygones. The clone of the Xiang Holy Sun spoke again. He looked at Jun Haoyin. He still had a condescending attitude and stood there calmly. However, Jun Haoyin laughed arrogantly when he heard this. Let bygones be bygones? Sorry, I can't do it. Chapter 104. Can't do it? Upon hearing that, Xiang Holy Sun slowly lifted his head and looked at Jun Haoyin. He said word by word, you'd better think carefully before you answer. I've thought it through. Tsing Shan will die today. Looking at Xiang Holy Sun, Jun Haoyin sneered. Then, he suddenly looked at the 7 hall elders in the void. Elders, life and death must be determined on the life and death ring. This is the unchanging rule of Langya Holy Land. Now that someone wants to break this rule, are you going to sit back and do nothing? Jun Haoyin's voice was sonorous and powerful. It resounded throughout the entire void. Upon hearing Jun Haoyin's words, the 7 hall elders in the void could not sit still anymore. Holy Sun, life and death must be determined on the life and death ring. Please leave immediately, Holy Sun. As the enforcement elder, the Kaiyang Hall elder immediately stood up and said to Xiang Holy Sun. Elder Lu is still as impartial as ever. Upon hearing that, Xiang Holy Sun looked up and glanced at the Kaiyang Hall elder. Then he said slowly, life and death must be determined on the life and death ring. At this moment, am I, the Holy Sun, not on the life and death ring? Shouldn't I also be determined on the life and death ring? Holy Sun, you. Upon hearing that, the Kaiyang Hall elder was furious. Facing the anger of the Kaiyang Hall elder, Xiang Holy Sun did not care. He looked at Jun Haoyin and said calmly, let him go and I'll spare your life. Spare my life? Upon hearing that, Jun Haoyin chuckled. Then he stared at Xiang Holy Sun fearlessly. You want me to let him go? Who do you think you are? What right do you have to ask me to let him go? The moment Jun Haoyin opened his mouth, his words stunned everyone present. That was Xiang Holy Sun. He was the only Holy Sun in the Langya Holy Land and had the potential to inherit the position of Holy Lord in the future. Even on the martial god continent, such a noble figure would be a top-notch existence. At this moment, Jun Haoyin was talking to Xiang Holy Sun in such an arrogant manner. He was simply courting death. Although Jun Haoyin had exceeded everyone's expectations and defeated the true disciple, Tsing Shan, he had been defeated. However, the Holy Sun was many times stronger than Tsing Shan. In addition to Xiang Holy Sun's noble status, Jun Haoyin had committed a serious crime by offending his superior. Jun Haoyin, don't be presumptuous in front of the Holy Sun. At this moment, the elder of Kaiyang Hall in the sky scolded Jun Haoyin. Although he did not like what the Holy Sun had done, the Holy Sun's dignity was not to be violated. As the elder of Kaiyang Hall who was in charge of law enforcement, Jun Haoyin had insulted the Holy Sun. He had no choice but to speak up. The Holy Sun? As the Holy Sun you think you can do whatever you want? Hearing this, Jun Haoyin's expression did not change at all. His black eyes shone with a strange light as he muttered to himself, You have successfully attracted my attention, but this is not a good thing. On the opposite side, Xiang Holy Sun was still high and mighty. Even after hearing Jun Haoyin's words, his tone was still very calm. You are just an incarnation. What right do you have to talk nonsense here? On the arena of life and death, get out of my way. Jun Haoyin continued to speak. Facing the incarnation of Xiang Holy Sun, he showed no respect at all. Instead he was arrogant and unruly. However, after hearing what Jun Haoyin said, Xiang Holy Sun's eyes flashed with murderous intent. How dare you? Then Xiang Holy Sun said softly as he slowly pointed out a finger. Yes, it was just one finger. Boom. As soon as he pointed out his finger, endless violet light gathered and a chilling murderous intent filled the air. Every ray of violet light contained enough energy to easily kill a Yuan Dan state overlord. Xiang Holy Sun made his move as if he was the ruler of the world. Humph! Jun Haoyin was not afraid as petals appeared around him. There were tens of thousands of petals scattered on the arena of life and death. So, all the petals bloomed and shot out rays of dazzling divine light. Every petal had the figure of Jun Haoyin. Tens of thousands of petals bloomed at the same time and surrounded Jun Haoyin as if there were 3,000 great worlds. With a thought, the flowers bloomed and the overlord descended. Jun Haoyin was going to fight against Xiang Holy Sun's incarnation. Countless disciples of the Langya Holy Land were dumbfounded. They could not believe it. He was too domineering and arrogant. The violet light and the petals clashed together. The entire arena of life and death shook and the light shield shook. Xiang Holy Sun was powerful, but he was still an incarnation. On the other hand, Jun Haoyin was using a supreme emperor art. Boom. After a while, Xiang Holy Sun's incarnation lost its balance and started to disappear under the countless petals. When everyone saw this scene, their gazes gradually became sluggish. Jun Haoyin had destroyed Xiang Holy Sun's incarnation. This was a slap to Xiang Holy Sun's face. After offending Xiang Holy Sun, how could Jun Haoyin establish himself in the Langya Holy Land? Very good, very good. Xiang Holy Sun was really angry when he felt the power of his incarnation dissipating. However, his incarnation had already started to disappear. No matter what, he could not stop Jun Haoyin from killing Tsing Shan. I hope you live well. I will end you myself. This was Xiang Holy Sun's last sentence. He was very calm. However, no one could feel the anger in his voice. Holy Sun. Don't forget that the Holy Sun's position is still undecided. Jun Haoyin sneered when he saw Xiang Holy Sun disappear. He muttered to himself, Then Jun Haoyin slowly turned his gaze to Tsing Shan. Tsing Shan's body trembled. He was in despair. He did not beg for mercy. In order to kill him, Jun Haoyin did not hesitate to become enemies with Xiang Holy Sun. He even destroyed Xiang Holy Sun's incarnation. At this moment, how could he be merciful to he? Even if I die, I will drag you down with me. Suddenly, Tsing Shan's eyes flashed with a hint of madness. In the next moment, he burned his qi in blood and activated a secret technique. He used the teleportation technique and appeared in front of Jun Haoyin. At the same time, a Yuan Dan appeared in his sea of energy, and it emanated a destructive aura. Shit. He's going to detonate his Yuan Dan. Outside the life and death arena, Jun Mou's face couldn't help but change when he saw this scene, and his entire body trembled. A Yuan Dan realm cultivator detonating his Yuan Dan was something that even an Imperial Dao realm cultivator would not be able to endure. That was unless they had a terrifying physical body. Otherwise, a Yuan Dan realm cultivator like Jun Haoyin would not be able to endure it at all. Elders, is there any way to remove the formation? Haoyin has already won. Jun Mo turned into a streak of light and appeared in front of all the elders. The elders reacted as well, and they said with troubled expressions, "Once the life and death arena's formation is activated, it can't be removed without blood. Unless an immortal realm cultivator intervenes." But at this moment, Tsing Shan's golden core detonated. Boom! A boundless destructive aura erupted, and a rain of blood danced in the air. Everyone's expression changed. How could Jun Haoyan survive Yuan Dan's self-detonation? But at this moment, a supreme holy aura erupted from the life and death arena. The boundless aura pierced the sky, and the entire life and death arena rumbled. Boundless golden chi and blood filled the world, and the blood-red life and death arena turned golden. The vast aura alarmed the truly powerful existences in the Langya sacred ground. The supreme holy aura gushed out and covered the world. It penetrated the life and death arena's formation and caused countless disciples to tremble. This was a kind of pressure that came from the soul. All the elders stood up straight. Their faces were pale. It was not because of fear. It was the aura of the life and death arena that made them extremely excited. Jun Moyo's expression was a little dazed at this moment. This is the aura of a holy physique. Chapter 105. The 7 elders were shocked when they felt the aura of the divine being emanating from the life and death ring. Their eyes were filled with disbelief as they looked at the golden blood chi emanating from the life and death ring. This aura, it could not be wrong. Even though they had not seen the divine being with their own eyes, the 7 elders were experienced and knowledgeable. They already had an answer in their hearts based on this aura. The aura that erupted from the divine being not only shocked them. At the same time, the peerless aura that erupted from the life and death ring made some of the Langya disciples who did not have a high cultivation level tremble. Even their souls were trembling. Jun Moyo looked at the life and death ring with a shocked expression. Boom, boom, boom. At that moment, the space vibrated and a few figures suddenly appeared in the sky above. These figures stood in the void. Each of them was 100 feet tall and looked like a giant. The 7 giant figures stood between heaven and earth as if they could move mountains and fill the sea with a wave of their hand. This was the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, a technique that could only be used by those in the Dharma stage. These 7 extremely powerful figures were naturally the 7 temple masters of the Langya sacred ground. It's really the aura of the divine being. There's no doubt about it. It can't be Tsing Shan. There can only be one possibility. Jun Haoyan is the peerless genius with the divine being. The temple masters spoke like a huge bell that shook the mountains and rivers. Greetings, temple masters. Everyone present, including the true disciples and the elders, bowed to the 7 figures in the sky and said. The 7 temple masters held extremely high positions in the Langya sacred ground. Other than the holy master and the grand elder, they had the most power and their cultivation levels had reached the Dharma stage. However, the 7 temple masters turned a blind eye to the disciples and elders below. Their eyes were fixed on the life and death ring. Seeing this, the crowd could only smile helplessly and continue to look at the life and death ring. On the life and death ring, the terrifying golden blood chi had not completely dissipated. Everyone had the same question in their hearts. Who was this person with the divine being? Although they already had a clear answer in their hearts, they still wanted to confirm it. Finally, at that moment, the golden blood chi completely disappeared. A silhouette appeared. He was dressed in white and his style was peerless. Yuan Dan's self-destruction did not harm him at all. To be able to shatter a top-grade artifact, the strength of his physical body had reached an unprecedented level. Of course, this was also because Jun Haoyan had used the demonic heaven-devouring art to absorb a portion of the energy. Otherwise, with his cultivation he wouldn't have been able to withstand Yuan Dan's self-detonation, because his saintly body hadn't been fully developed yet. If his divine body had reached the small success realm, even if he blew up his magical artifact, it would still be impossible to harm him. When Jun Haoyan's figure appeared, because of Tsing Shan's self-destruction, the array formation on the life and death platform had automatically been removed. The aura of the saint physique was already surging within his body. The golden chi and blood were faintly discernible, describing his peerless physique. No wonder Jun Haoyan was able to kill Tsing Shan with only Yuan Dan. It turns out that he has a holy body. The holy body is as powerful as the legends say. Looking at the golden chi and blood lingering all over Jun Haoyan's body, the palace masters couldn't help but exclaim. When they saw Jun Haoyan come out, they all felt that it was unreal. No one would have thought that Jun Haoyan, a mere outer sanctum disciple, would actually have a holy body. If Jun Haoyin had revealed his holy body at the beginning, perhaps even Xing Shan wouldn't have dared to cause trouble for him, and the 7 palace elders wouldn't have allowed him to sign the life and death contract. Even Jun Moyo, who was the closest to Jun Haoyin, looked at Jun Haoyin in disbelief. Her red lips were slightly parted, and her beautiful eyes were filled with shock. Her brother actually had a holy body. Having a holy body meant that Jun Haoyin was ranked among the strongest of the younger generation in the Wuxian continent. With the talent of a holy body, one's talent had reached the peak. Now his only shortcoming was his cultivation. However, for a holy body, it was extremely fast to improve one's cultivation. As long as a genius with a holy body didn't die, he would almost certainly cultivate to the immortal realm. Moreover, he would be the most powerful immortal realm, invincible among his peers. Even the Langya sacred ground didn't have such an existence. I didn't expect that after so many years, there would be another holy body in the Langya sacred ground. Just as everyone was about to move forward, a majestic voice suddenly came from the void. In an instant, the earth rumbled and even the sun and moon in the void seemed to be trembling. An invincible aura spread out and suppressed the entire Langya sacred ground. Countless disciples, elders, and palace masters were shocked at this moment. Jun Haoyin, who was in the life and death ring, slowly turned around when he heard this. A middle-aged man in green slowly appeared in the depths of the Langya sacred ground. With every step he took, countless green lotuses bloomed. He stood there as if he was the ruler of heaven and earth. He was a peerless expert. Even in the entire martial god continent he would be a top expert. After seeing the middle-aged man in green, countless people knelt on one knee. Even the palace masters bowed directly. "Welcome, Holy Lord. Welcome, Holy Lord. Welcome, Holy Lord." For a moment, the entire Langya sacred ground was in an uproar. Even the true disciples who had been in seclusion appeared and bowed. This middle-aged man was one of the top figures in the entire martial god continent. The Holy Lord of Langya, Tao Xian. An immortal realm expert, a true powerhouse. Seeing the Holy Lord of Langya, Jun Haoyin's eyes flashed with an undetectable light. However, he quickly hid it and bowed slightly with the crowd. "Greetings, Holy Lord." After the Holy Lord of Langya appeared, his gaze was fixed on Jun Haoyin. After hearing Jun Haoyin's words, he smiled slightly. "Very good. You're not bad." How many people in the sacred ground could accept the Holy Lord's personal praise? Everyone looked at Jun Haoyin enviously. "Thank you, Holy Lord, for your praise." Jun Haoyin acted neither servile nor overbearing. All of this was actually part of his plan. When Xiang Holy Sun appeared, he knew that things would not end like this. After all, Xiang Holy Sun was the Holy Sun of Langya. Not only was he powerful but he also had great authority. If he offended such a person, Jun Haoyin would have a hard time in the future in Langya sacred ground. If he wanted to go against such a person he had to find a backer. He had to expose his talent and attract the attention of the real big shots in Langya sacred ground. Although he had defeated Xing Shan, it was still not enough. After all, Xing Shan was only a true disciple. Some people would not take notice of him. Therefore, Jun Haoyin chose to reveal his holy physique without any hesitation. Even the Holy Lord of Langya could not underestimate the existence of a holy physique. As expected, the Holy Lord of Langya really appeared. If he could attract the attention of such a big shot, even the Xiang Holy Sun would not be able to do anything to him. Getting the Holy Lord of Langya to notice him was Jun Haoyin's plan. And now, he seemed to have succeeded. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.